Hello everybody, welcome to another Tails Channel Live discussion. Now, I know we talked about Colors Ultimate before, but a lot has happened since then, and there's a lot of things we need to talk about. Now, I think a good place to start is actually based on a question that Corey in the chat just asked. Can somebody please explain to me what the bloom effect is? Just because that is in the thumbnail. And so if I start the video explaining it, you can refer people to the beginning of it so that they're not confused. So we're all on the same page. Now, we're not going to be talking about the bloom effect the entire stream, but more or less what it is it makes things look really kind of glowy, and everything looks kind of glowy and blurry at the same time. Think about it like if everything in a Sonic level was supersonic at the same time, except it wasn't yellow. It just had a kind of glowy effect. Yeah, and a lot of people are saying that Sonic Colors Ultimate looks basically just too glowy. And bloom effect is something that is known for fan devs sometimes to use, also legitimate developers in the game industry to use, to kind of, as opposers of the bloom effect say, they use it to kind of band-aid over, or use it as a way to say they're remastering something when it's really not that great. It's kind of a filter, right? So maybe Instagram is a good comparison. There's probably some filters on Instagram that resemble bloom. It's really just a filter. Anyway, I'm really excited to talk with you guys today, but this music is... Oh! Na 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 na. Oh wait, I got the lyrics wrong. Crap, you know what? Let's just pretend that never happened. I just pretend that never happened. I didn't get that wrong. I'm perfect in every way, okay? So before we get into the live discussion, which I will be joining the call in our Discord server, which by the way, you can join our Discord using the link in the description of this live stream. So if you're interested in the chance to be on stream today, you're gonna need to join our Discord server, and then you're gonna have to scroll through all of the kind of stuff on the side on the left there, and one of them is going to be something that's called a stage, and that's what you're gonna have to join. You're gonna see a lot of people in it right now, but first I'm gonna shout out some regulars in the chat to kind of remind myself of the people who constantly support us and consistently support us, because those are the real MVPs, coming here almost every weekend and always asking if we are all right when we miss one. So let's see who I see. Chicken Wing Johnny. I know for a fact Chicken Wing Johnny is an artist that plays around with the Sonic Rush DS models and reanimated that where Sonic meets Shadow in SA2 in Sonic Colors DS. So massive shout outs. Go check them out if you haven't already. I believe they're doing a Sonic Rush 3D project. I'm not sure if Chicken Wing Johnny is on that, but it looks super exciting and I can't wait to see what they come up with. Massive shout outs, dude. You're doing some amazing work. All right, so this song is pretty great, so I think I'll keep it on, but I'm gonna turn it down a little bit because it's a little loud for me, and I think it's loud for you guys too. So let's see what other regulars I can see in the chat. Give me your hellos if I haven't called you out yet. Chaos Control VA is always a pleasure to see. The Crazy Gamer. Sonic Pox is here, a good friend. X-Fool, of course, always a pleasure. Who else is here that I recognize? I'm recognizing some display pictures that are a little familiar, but I don't recognize the names. Let's see here. Who do I recognize? Now, this could be that I don't remember names very well, and also because everyone's changing their display picture. Oh, Jark. Jark is pretty well here every week, so that's really great to see. Jace! Jace, nice to see ya. I'm still not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Qwerty, I think I recognize you too. Sony, I don't know if that's the Sony I'm thinking of, because you just have an S for your display picture. Alright, so, you're a pleasure to see? Of course! Of course! Because I'm seeing you again, right? I know you've returned to our chat. So it must mean we're doing something right here on Tails Channel Live. Jake asks, where is Matt? Is this like a serious question? Because there's a video on Tails Channel a couple years ago now where Matt announced that he is leaving Tails Channel. I don't know if you know this, but he's not on Tails Channel anymore. It's been years, dude. Jake, are you okay? Are you all right? All right, so without further ado, we're going to move on into the call. But first, I want to select a subject. Actually, I completely forgot about the poll we put on the screen. So why don't we take a look at that? So if you guys didn't participate in the poll, please participate, because I want to collect some data on you. The internet already does it anyway, so, you know, at least give some Sonic information to the team you trust, tailschannel.com. This will give us an indication on how many people are really excited for the game and where they stand, so we can kind of base our conversation around that and the people in the room. So it's really important that you vote, because that's going to kind of guide our discussion moving forward. So before I get into the call, I think it's really important that we look at that. So why don't I pull up the polls results right now? Because I just mentioned it, they're probably subject to change. I also am realizing that I got a donation, so don't worry, I'll check that out really soon. But let's take a look at the poll. So the question, as I said before, is will you buy Sonic Colors Ultimate? Now I gave you quite a bit of options because I did kind of, again, we're gonna want to talk about a lot of different things here. And I did purposely try to split you guys up to see where everybody stands. So it's looking like it's pretty divisive, but most people seem to be optimistic. So it seems like the vast majority, 38% of you are saying, yeah, sure, why not? The Sonic game, why not? So if you were with us for our live discussion last week, Sony, a regular on the Tails Channel Discord and Tails Channel Live, hey Kenny, and Breeze Leia, hey, how you doing? Anyway, Sony was saying he pretty much will just throw his money at any Sonic game. He was being super honest, and I'm sure there's a lot of people like that. I probably have been like that for a majority of my Sonic fandom, but I'm starting to, after things like Forces, when, you know, they imply there might be a Shadow boss fight, and I've said it many, many times, so I'll keep it really brief, but they also kind of imply there's going to be a Chaos boss fight, and then they don't deliver, and then there's no lore with the Phantom Ruby. Like, I don't know. I'm a little more hesitant. So if Colors doesn't exactly deliver in the way that I'm hoping it will, I think I might just stick to emulating the game, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But we'll have to see. But it looks like most people are pretty positive about it. So a lot of people have already pre-ordered. 27 people have, 27%, not 27 people, a little bit more than that. Actually, no, it's actually a little less, 21 votes. 27% say they're already pre-ordered. I would have already pre-ordered the game if it was available on Steam. That's kind of, it's kind of affecting a large portion of my judgment right now, if I'm being honest. Again, I'm rambling so much at the big start of the stream so that we can kind of pick apart what I said at the intro and then use them as topics for discussion as we move forward. So don't worry, I will be going into the call really soon. Now, 21% says they're waiting for more info, and I think right now that's where I fall. Again, because, oh, hi, Rosemary Rivera, nice to see you. And Ender Electrics is back. Welcome. Nice to see you return as well. All right, so, yeah, I'm in the camp of waiting for more info because I really think Sonic Colors specifically will lend itself to a really exciting multiplayer racing mode, even if it's just 1v1. Of course, ideally, you'd be able to have at least 4 in there, but I'm understanding that that would be tricky to optimize. I understand. It's a lot going on, and especially since Sonic games typically have an issue with optimization, I'm just gonna ask for one. We've never gotten a 3D, I know it's very 2D, but okay. 3D boost title. We haven't really gotten a multiplayer boost title game. You could say Rush, right? Like, just play Rush. It's basically just as 2D as Sonic Colors. Okay, jokes aside, we haven't had like an actual like boost title with multiplayer, and ever since I saw Unleashed gameplay style, I thought it would make for a really exciting multiplayer mode. So I'm in that camp waiting for more info because I really want that really, really badly, and the skins seem to imply that that's gonna be available, and I do believe on the release. How about we take a look at that actually? So, in the press release via tailschannel.com of Sonic Colors Ultimate, see how I'm using our own website? Check it out. Looks pretty great. I helped with the layout of tailschannel.com, so if you like the layout, please send me some of your love. Anyway, I remember there was something on the release of an online mode. I wonder if it's so weird. If I control F online, did I make that up? I guess we'll talk about that as we move forward, but that pretty much brings us to the end of our poll. Also, chat, let's see how many of you understood the reference. Can everybody in the chat that understood the reference, no way, no way, no way, no way? Everyone that understood that reference, press 1. Everybody that didn't, press anything else. When I was making the poll, I wanted to have a little fun with it, throw in a Sonic reference in there, and if you don't get it, it's our opportunity to educate you. Us Sonic boomers will educate you. All right, so... All right, whoa, okay. So a lot of people got that reference, okay, so I wasn't that clever. All right, but there's some people who didn't. But I mean, we're talking about colors, right? And if we know anything, there are some people in the chat, right? Like last week, Ender Electrics grew up with the meta era of Sonic games. Meta era, for lack of a better title. Meta era, so colors kind of started that, I would argue, unleashed a little bit. But yeah, he grew up with those games. And that's... entirely possible that there were people here who grew up with these games and they have no idea what this classic Sonic reference is. So how about I explain it to you? So no way. That is from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, I think. It's like the blue sphere mode. I think it's when you try to take the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge and combine it with literally anything else that's not compatible with it. You get access to a bunch of blue sphere stages, which are basically the stages you'd see in Sonic Mania Plus. The ones where you're collecting blue spheres, and you don't want the red ones. There's a screen with all the characters. They look pretty nice, and it's saying, no way. It was fun. It was a funny thing, but people thought it was really strange, so I included it in there. Anyway, let's get right into calls. So, let me switch to our call screen. All right, so everybody that's piling in now should be able to understand that you can join the call, because it literally says that right there. All right, so chat, give us some questions. Give us some questions about some new things that came out. I'll give you a topic first. So the first thing I want to discuss is the big elephant in the room. So in contrast to how we did it last week, where I saved the thumbnail topic for last. Oh, I don't want to just listen to the Hover Wisp. That's not a song we want to listen to. Let's do Starlight Carnival Act 2. Yeah, that's a pumping one. Oh yeah, okay. So, let's talk about Bloom visuals, right? Because the first thing that came out that we haven't really discussed are those extra developer footage that we found on, I believe it was, what was the website called? Anyway, a developer by the name of Brian Connolly posted some upgraded visual aspects as well as brand new gameplay mechanics, if you know where to look. And there was also some new screenshots that came out a couple days ago too, so we'll talk about those as well. I'm going to pull them up on screen as we talk about them, but ask us your questions regarding the visuals on the game. I'm going to invite somebody into the call to discuss it, somebody that I recognize and trust. I'm going to unmute myself on the discussion. Hi, I'm unmuted now. I'm going to give you some time and speak quietly because some of you might have just gotten your ears blasted because there's a lot of people waiting to speak. Hey guys, adjust your volume or maybe mute the stream right now. You might be hearing two of me. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was muted in Discord. Hello. Okay, that's your grace period. You're done. If you didn't figure it out yet, you're too slow. See, another reference there. We're full of references today, so guys. I've been a fan too long, all right? I get it. I understand. Help me. Please help me. Please save me. Please. I don't know what to do. Please. Okay, wait. What button is it? Chat cam. This one? Okay, sweet. All right. So I'm going to grab a question and see what we can find. I unfortunately can't participate in the call because I'm apparently banned from the server. I'm not sure why that is. It seems like you bring it up a lot, though. So I would contact one of the administrators if you can, and if you already have, I don't know what to tell you. I don't frequent there, so I don't really moderate the Tales Channel Discord that often. I have my own Discord server. All right, so do you hope there is a setting to turn the bloom off? That's a pretty basic question that I can answer. I don't know if we can discuss too much about it. Of course, I do, but I don't expect there to be an option for it. All right, so let's go. I'm trying to look for a good, juicy question. Let's see. How does the call work? Jake, you have to click the link in the description. There'll be a link to the Tales Channel Discord. You gotta join the Discord, and then you gotta join the call, just like you would any other call. The bloom is SADX lighting goof of colors. Solitaire, dude. What do you mean? The bloom is the SADX lighting goof of colors. Oh, you're comparing it to Sonic Adventure DX. I agree that Sonic Adventure DX is not a very good port, and it just got worse every single time they ported Sonic Adventure. I guess there's just not a lot of questions about the bloom. How many wearables do you think there will be? We are talking about visuals, so Lisa, I think that's a really, really good question. So why don't we start that? Also, thank you so much, Ryan, for pinning a new link to the Discord in the chat. So if you had trouble finding it before, now you can find it pinned in the chat, courtesy of Ryan. Massive shoutouts. Or, I mean, I guess it's possible somebody else did it. Anyway, oh, I love this song. Okay, so I'm going to select who is going to be joining. Somebody that I recognize, but also I don't really want to pick the same people. Oh, you know who I have to give the first call to? I have to. Because Dion is here. Dion is here. Now, wait, like, let me just double check. Because that's a thing I got to do. I got to double check that it's the person I'm thinking of. I'm almost positive. Yeah, it is. Okay. So, Dion, you're going to be coming in. And the question we're going to be talking about is from Lisa. So, I'm going to invite you actually right now, since we already know. So, invite to speak. Here comes Dion. Give him a warm welcome, guys. Say hello to Dion, as I do. Hold on, let me just get the chat.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Dion. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. I mean, it's a really hot day today, so like, I'm worried I won't be able to stream as long, but I'm really excited to talk about this, but I'm not really interested in everybody watching me melt. So far, so good, though. How are you?
It's not as hot where I am. I'm actually more a fan of like hot weather because I can't stand cold weather. I just can't do it. I thought I could, and then Christmas came around and I was just like in a blanket all day. So
really?
I'm welcoming the summer. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm just picky. Like I feel like I'm always complaining about the weather. Like
I am too. Yeah.
I'm not from this planet, I guess. I don't know. Nothing's good enough for me or something. I don't know. At least I'm admitting it though. Anyway, let's talk Sonic because that's what everyone's here for. So the question is, how many like wearables do you think they are? Lisa's asking this. Shoutouts to Lisa. We can start with you too. Do you have any kind of guess on how many options we're going to be given? Like, is it somewhere around 100? Do you think it's going to be like 500? Maybe even less, like 20? How far do you think they're going to go?
With the wearables?
Yes, with the like customizable options.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really think I don't see past 20. I'm just gonna, go on the down. I'm gonna expect nothing, right? And when we get 100, I'm gonna be ecstatic. I'm gonna be over the moon.
I mean, that's probably a good way of doing it, considering, how fans can typically get their expectations really high, and then they get let down, which I'm a little guilty of that, because I keep saying robust online mode, but I can't even find an inkling of online mode. I mean, we're gonna have more Sonic Centrals, Dion. So maybe they are saving the number of wearables and a robust online mode. Please, I know I'm getting people's expectations up, like you just said not to do, but I can't help it. I want it so bad. I want to will it into existence, Dion. Is that bad?
I'm a victim of getting overhyped too. I mean, we're both Sonic fans. We're both Sonic veterans. I mean, it's only natural that we're just gonna do this instinctually, right?
Yeah, I mean, we like Sonic, so we want to see it do well. So, like, I'm sorry, I understand what I'm doing. X-Pool is saying there is no online mode. There is no way that I made up this memory. Dion, back me up, man. Did you hear something about that?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, I'm not crazy. Okay, so you said around 20 wearables is your kind of guess that we're going to get?
Yes, that's at least minimum, right? 20, 30, that's minimum.
I think that that's a pretty good call because based on the wearables we've seen so far, all they really do is adjust his gloves and his shoes. And like, how many things can you do? Like, even the ones they showed off in the first trailer, it feels like they're already kind of running out of ideas, right? Like paint, splatter, metal, gold.
Right, it's
what
very
can you
basic.
do? Yeah.
I think you could try to do like, because I know in Sonic X, Sonic had a few different shoe options, and then, he has the soap shoes, he has classic shoes for all you Santiago fans, he has,
It's interesting. Wait, keep going, sorry? Santiago.
There's several different shoe options. I think you could do that. There's several different, you could do a metal Sonic or something, I don't know, it's just like, there's a lot of different options, and you can pull from, like, comic book material or TV show material.
You could. Yeah, right. I don't know if they will. Here's the thing. I think, like, what I was going to say in response to that is I don't think we're going to get any references to Sonic, like Sonic X or anything. They're probably going to reuse as many assets as they can, so it could be over 20 or 30, like Corey is saying well, they're saying it sounds right, but I think it could be a little bit more, only because they might reuse custom hero assets, right? And I wouldn't have a problem with that, right? If it means we get soap shoes, they already modeled soap shoes, and if they're trying to make some money from us, man, the adventure fans are thirsty. They like, if they gotta buy a pack or something, if it's as long as it's,
we're dead. We're dead. We're in a desert. We died like 20 years ago.
We're bones.
It's over.
We're bones.
Yeah,
That's it. We're done. It's over. Wait, it's over. Bye, guys. Bye. This is the whole stream.
Yeah, just bye.
What? Did you actually think that? Oh gosh. Oh man. Okay. I didn't actually leave.
No.
But, like,
I was saying bye to the stream too. Don't worry.
No, but that was.
I got this joke, Evan. Don't worry. We're on the same wavelength.
But that was so sad. Do you actually feel that way?
No.
What?
What?
Do you feel that way? Do you feel like adventure fans it's over? Give up?
See, well, it's the thing. With social media, it's different. With the games, it's a different realm, right? So social media can pander to the adventure fans all they want, but I genuinely, on some level, don't really see us getting like an Adventure 3 or an Adventure 2.5 anytime soon. Because I know that Sega has stated that they think Colors is the ideal quote unquote start or entry point to the series for new fans, and again, that's a very different writing style from Adventure and Adventure 2, and even around Heroes, that kind of thing. Less so Heroes, but more so Adventure 1 and 2. And so I don't really find them doing that sort of writing again, or at least for a long time. I don't know if that's ever going to happen again. Could. I hope it does. But I have my doubts.
And I think that's fair. I agree with everything you're gonna say, but like I always do, I'm gonna put a positive spin on it. So I'm combining everything we know so far, and that's including some Sonic Rangers leaks, which are not 100% confirmed. And I was talking with Shani earlier, and if there's anything we know about Sonic games, right, they can adjust things in development. And we know that the Sonic Rangers leak is from early 2020. And so, right, despite what a lot of YouTube thumbnails and titles will tell you, we can't absolutely confirm that what we're gonna get is open world. But so I just want to preface by saying that. However, I think the reason that the games themselves will never directly cater to adventure fans is because, and this is my optimistic part, it's because I think it's possible to satiate adventure fans at the same time as modern fans. It's possible. It's just no longer acceptable the way that the narratives are being presented. And this is why the addition of Metal Sonic, right, these rival races that people are bringing up in the chat that I saw, the addition of these rival races with Metal Sonic and this animated cartoon that seemingly is, as it says, right, as it's titled, Rise of the Wisps, I really do believe that this cartoon is going to be a prequel to the game, and that does kind of imply that the story might be tweaked in a way. Now, there was something that came out saying Ken Pontac is returning to write the story. It could very well be possible, and again, I'm being optimistic, stretching some things, I know that, but it could very well be that they brought him on to oversee it, to make sure it is consistent with the original vision, and maybe they're changing some things. Just because that guy is involved doesn't mean it's going to be terrible. I do think the message has been heard that narrative needs to be shifted in some way. However, again, I think more so Rangers will be what kind of supplements this Colors experience. Hopefully it's for more hardcore gamers. I hate using that word, and I always stutter using it because of memes. Internet!
We're the most oppressed group, Evan. We're gamers.
All right. What? Okay, anyway, I can't even get into that right now. I have no idea. But anyway, Dion, it was really nice chatting with you, but unfortunately, I got to give the floor to other people and spread it around. But you and I need to talk more. I need to think of a way where you and I can interact.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me.
You're supposed to teach me some Sonic Adventure 1 speedruns, right?
I'm playing that game 24/7. When it's 3 a.m., I'm playing it. 3 p.m., I'm playing it. So just hit me up.
All right, I'm gonna hit you up for that so I can practice some speedrun techniques, because literally I've never seen the same speedrun strats from anybody, and I've been in this community like for my whole life, so like I'm not trying to like hype you up too much. Like it's probably just my ignorance mostly, but still, you're really great, and thank you for being here. If I can do it,
you can do it, Evan. Trust me, I'm not that great at the game. So.
I think I can do it, but I need some help, so I'm gonna appreciate that when we get around to it. But anyway, I hope you enjoy your fantastic weather. I might not get that same chance, but it was nice talking to you nonetheless. Have a great day, dude.
Have a great stream, man.
Thanks, dude. All right, guys, so we covered a lot in just that first kind of chat. So we're probably gonna have to bounce back a little bit. Of course, that typically is the case when we start with somebody, and I start with somebody that, you know, I'm pretty good friends with, so they stick around quite a while. So I'm gonna chat with you guys a little bit because I realized I kind of needed to interact with the chat a little bit more in the live discussion because not everybody can join the call. I understand there are people waiting to join the call, and we'll get to that, but I did want to just kind of focus a little bit more on the chat than I did last week. It's tricky, right? Because when I'm talking to somebody directly in the call, naturally, my attention is on them and moderating the stream at the same time. So I kind of do neglect the chat. So I'm going to sandwich it in little portions. So it'll be call, then it'll be chat, then it'll be call, chat. I think that's the best way to go about it. Jamal Simmons donates $5. Will Sonic Rangers have only Sonic as a playable character or his friends? Tails, Amy, Knuckles, and the other characters. So this is surprisingly a big subject because I remember hearing some people, I think I watched my archive from last week back, and people were responding to me saying that Wisps are a good way to kind of recycle assets that they've already designed, right? Save dev time. And if the criticism from the leaks of Sonic Rangers was that the combat was monotonous, they could very quickly band-aid solution that by throwing in Wisps. And I think polish is super important, especially in the context that it could be an open world game. Polish is paramount for something like that. And so I personally think, oh, here's a hot take for you guys. Get ready. I'm going to give you some time to prepare yourselves. Here we go. Ready? I thought about this like the other day. Wisp hate is the modern day Sonic community equivalent of Sonic's pathetic friends or Sonic's stupid friends. Because Wisps are guilty by association. They are guilty because of their implementation and not their concept, because there is literally nothing about their concept that goes against Sonic. They're literally just alien flickies. They link to classic Sonic. They resemble that. They're literally in capsules similar to flickies, and people just don't like them because of what came with them. So I'm on your side when it comes to the story being reworked, but I'm not on your side on just getting rid of Wisps for no reason. Now, here's tying it back to what Jamal said. Jamal's asking about, do you think Rangers will have multiple playable characters? People were responding to me saying, oh yeah, like, what about Knuckles? Why can't he just dig instead of the drill Wisp? This is the thing. Knuckles digs differently, and that's a whole character. Knuckles it doesn't make sense to just slap Knuckles in there as a power-up. You want him to be like in the Generations missions where he just poofs out of a cloud and does some digging for you and then goes away? Because that would be Knuckles replacing the Wisps. That would be what it is. Focus on what I said. It saves dev time, and if they can save dev time implementing things like that and polishing an open world game, I'm gonna choose polish, right? Because if an open world game is solid, they can add other characters later, right? Multiple playable characters is always something that was unique to Sonic, but it probably caused them a lot of issues. Think of a lot of Nintendo games that are held in high regard. They don't put 27 characters in there. Sega was just trying to get a number to compete with Nintendo of playable characters, and it worked at the time, but it came at the price of a lack of polish. So if it means we gotta get Wisps to diversify Sonic's gameplay to compensate for that, I think it's a good choice. Change the story. It shouldn't be like Colors. It shouldn't be like Lost World. I'm with you. Now, how about, since we're talking about that, let's talk about the story. So let's talk about what I was just talking about, actually. Jamal gave us a really juicy topic, so why don't we use it, especially since he also gave us some money. Also, there's other people that gave us money that I forgot about 28 minutes ago. crap. The Crazy Gamer donated $1.42 and says, hey, Evan, remember me? You know that one guy who went too deep in Tales and gameplay? Then I got proven wrong no less than 5 days later by Famitsu LMAO. How you doing, man? Yeah, the Crazy Gamer went super in deep in detail because he stayed up way too late talking Sonic, and it overwhelmed me a little bit on one of these live discussions. I don't want the Wisp power-ups in here. Let's see. Oh, that's a good one. All right. Sweet. Okay. So, yeah, it was discovered, and then we'll get to this later. Unfortunately, I'm bouncing around, but that's the nature of a live discussion, right? Everybody's got something different to say. But yeah, it was revealed that getting those little Tails icons on your side is a Tails recovery system, which is in tandem with their incentive to kind of make this as welcoming as possible. There was a lot of roasting on social media regarding how Sonic Colors isn't really that hard to begin with. I don't know about your experience being a fan. Actually, here's the thing. I'm going to read one more donation, and we're going to talk about all of these subjects individually. I think I have a record of all of them. Yeah, I can just scroll back up. It's fine. So we'll get to that in a moment, but I'm realizing that I spent a little bit too much time with chat, and now I need to shift it back to the call. So what I'm going to do to guarantee that is I'm going to comb through the viewers right now, pick somebody that I think I'm going to sandwich it with the calls too. I think I'm going to pick people that I'm a little, like, I'm still familiar with them, but I'm a little less familiar with them. And then somebody I'm super familiar with. So what I'm going to do is I'm trying to pick somebody new. Let's see here. Somebody new. It's not always going to be perfect, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it to Toru. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I think you know who you are. There's nobody else in here that resembles your name. Toru, I believe, is part of our Tales channel team. Yes. So I gotta throw it to Toru, but I also don't talk to Toru very much, so I gotta throw it to Toru. To Toru, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about the the Tales recovery system and how you feel about that. If it's too easy. So think about that. I'm gonna give you some time, just so you know. I understand that there's a lot of people here. First time on in a while. I don't know if you've ever been on, but give yourself some time. I'm gonna read a donation, and then we're gonna throw it to you. You'll go first, and I'll go. So Lazy Genius donates $5. Thank you so much. It says, "Hey Tales channel, love you guys. Been watching since 2013. Wow. Y'all are the GOAT. Oh my gosh. Stop. We'll definitely be supportive for the times to come." Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Lazy Genius. And I want to make this very clear to those who support us. Obviously, the elephant in the room when it comes to Tales channel in general is, we're slacking in the YouTube video department. I will let you know that this summer, that will change. We've really been focusing on our website. If you've had trouble with the website server in the past, whenever news broke, our website would crash because it was almost too successful. We've recently updated our server, so please come back. Please come back to us. Just kidding. Things are still great on the website, and nobody's really left. It's still going really, really well on TalesChannel.com, but that's where the bulk of our focus has been these past couple of months. But don't worry. Now that we've gotten our bearings on the website, we're going to go full force back into content creation like never before. So stay tuned for that, but I'm still trying to finish the school year. So we'll get back to that. Anyway, let's see what Toru has to say about the Tails recovery system and the overall difficulty of Sonic Colors Ultimate. I'm going to invite you to speak right now. Toru, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to refer to you as Toru. Hey, Toru, how you doing? You there?
I'm doing good. I'm back. I'm finally returned.
Welcome. I think you were on, now that I'm hearing your voice, you definitely were on one of the Tales
I was
channel.
on once for an IDW live stream, and then I compared the thing to Family Guy. So, I'm back!
All right, Toru, so welcome back, first of all. And I wanted to just say, what do you think of the overall difficulty? Like, they're gonna make it even easier in the port. Do you think that that's cool for all these young Sonic movie fans, or do you think it's a bad move? Do you think it's just gonna make the game too easy?
Okay, so first off, I have never played Sonic Colors, so I don't even know, I can't even be like, oh yeah, Sonic Colors, that game, difficulty-wise. But I feel like that, I'm not really a person that's like, oh man, Sonic games, they have to be super easy, or oh, they have to be super hard. I'm not really like a difficulty type of person. I know people who both always play games on like story mode, and people who always like play them on like hardcore Dark Souls difficulty. I'm not really a person that's like, oh, you can only play a game one way. Like, I feel like that, like, the Tales live system, it's fine. Like, like they said in their interviews, the reason they made this game was to appeal to younger fans. Right. And I feel like this is just another way for them to just, like, bridge that gap. Like, I'm not gonna be like, how dare they appease to the younger fans? Like, it's a Sonic game. Like, as much as like the fan base, like, it's like endless, like it spans like generations of just fans. It is a children's franchise at the end of the day, and I do feel like that kids would like this system.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. And so I appreciate that you prefaced by saying that you haven't played Sonic Colors, but I think there's a question I can ask you that kind of ties into what I want to say about this subject that I think will make your feelings on the matter very clear. Have you ever had an experience with any Sonic game where somebody who is unfamiliar with Sonic games, like they've never really touched it that much, and they want to try, and you hand them the controller? Have you ever experienced anything like that?
I have not.
Oh,
Everyone
no.
I talk to that has been like, you're playing Sonic, and I've been like, you want to play? They go, no. Why are you playing Sonic?
Really? I am so sorry for you.
It's not bad. I mean, I've had like, it's kind of like a meme with my friends, like, oh, I'm the resident Sonic fan. Like, they'll be like, oh, you're the Sonic fan, and like they'll make jokes about it, but it's like, I'm fine with it. I like run it. I've like run with it, but I've never had someone be like, oh bro, you're playing Sonic, let me play with. No, it's always, why are you playing Sonic?
I mean, I think I got that a little bit when I was super little, but the moment I studied theater arts, and because you can't be on stage without having a panic attack if you don't figure out how to like be really vulnerable and just own who you are to an extreme degree. So it got to a point where like I was playing Sonic games, and of course, you know, Sonic's reputation, you know, isn't perfect, and so that response from your friends is completely normal, and it makes sense how you handled it. But the way I handled it, just being a performer, is I just kind of went like, yeah, dude, this is like amazing. And I talk about all, like, I'm playing Sonic Adventure or something, or Generations at the time, and I'd be like, this, like, I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm like pulling off stunts, and it eventually, I guess I kind of sell it. I'm tapping into salesman energy. So I found myself in a situation where I can actually pass the controller to somebody. So it's good that you explained your experience either way, even if you've never had that experience, because I'm sure a lot of people in the chat share that experience with you. So I'm gonna add my unique perspective to this, which is that when I handed my controller to that person with like Generations, they could barely do a thing. Now that contributes to my belief that Sonic is like, I can't really think of many games like Sonic that give you so much control and move you at such a fast velocity. Even games like Colors, as limited as it is, people just struggle to figure out how to do it, and platformers in general are kind of hard and not very accessible. So I can understand the decision to have Tails kind of save you, so people can just kind of experience the content in the game easy. And I do believe there will be different modes, so if people want to play on a super expert difficulty, they can. And Colors, in its nature and its design, you're trying to collect things and go around in the level. So I think it's good that they make getting through the level easy, and so they can experience the story and the game at their own pace. But if you really like the game, you're going to have to get better, find the collectibles, and it seems like this is going to be a game with a lot of extra content to unlock. So it's going to reward the player as they, you know, fall in love with the game, get better. And hopefully, if this online mode, which is totally a real thing, Toru, please tell me you heard the same thing as me. Did you hear there's an online mode? Am I crazy?
I don't know if there's an online mode or not.
What am I talking about?
I haven't been really paying attention to Colors. I'm not really like oh yeah, man, I know everything about Colors. I'm like, oh cool, there's a Tails mode. But I remembered my first Sonic game was Sonic Mania. I know, it's a shocker, but...
Oh my gosh, that ties to my point earlier. There are people in here that just... So you're new to the community is what you're saying.
Well, I'm kind of new. I have like a very, very extensive knowledge of Sonic games that it's like I'm way too much like interested in the franchise or obsessed with it, as some might say. But I remember like my first experience with Mania, and like the first time running through the game Sonic and Tails, I would like keep on dying, and I would just keep like getting better. I would be able to like just get better, and like then I could like beat the game like super easy. And like I watched like people play in the past, and like back then I was like, oh man, like this spider boss is super hard, and now it's like, okay, first time done, moving on. So it's like Sonic games do have a learning curve. I think a lot of people do not talk about. It is a very like, oh, you keep improving, and I think that's one of the good things about the game, where it's like you're constantly trying to get a better time and better movement and pushing yourself to get like the best like time or score or whatever.
It sounds like even though your time with Sonic has been limited, you understand, which is great. So guys, just because people grew up with like a newer Sonic doesn't mean Sonic's initial concept is lost, guys. It's not hopeless, guys. I still think Sonic Rangers could be good. What's that?
I have read the entirety of the Archie Comics line. I know what I am talking about.
Well, so maybe before we send you off, we ask you a little bit more about the narrative, since, you know, IDW is more narrative focused, and yeah, you've read the Archie Comics, so yeah, that's probably a good topic for you specifically. So, do you think, based on the things we've seen so far, so right, like the implication that like Metal Sonic's in the cartoon, but Metal Sonic's also in Ultimate, and the Ghost Wisp, sorry, the name is escaping me. The Ghost Wisp is in the animated cartoon, but also in the game. So do you think they're going to change the narrative? And if you do think they're going to change it, what do you think they should change with Sonic Colors as we know it, narrative-wise?
Oh, okay. If like someone went to me and said like, okay, you have full control, change the narrative to however you want, I would just say, the DS games. Like, I would literally just turn the story into the DS games.
So you really enjoy the DS game story?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, it has its problems, but I really liked it. I mean, it had Tsundere Shadow in it. A lot of the characters showed up out of nowhere, and it's always a joy to see.
It fit in with the lore, right? Like, I see people screenshot all the time, like how Blaze and Silver kind of know each other. We need more of that in things that aren't just like the DS port that no one pays attention to.
Yeah.
Like, it feels so bad being like a longtime fan, like we are, well, me and you a little bit, but being like a fan and then like, oh, the only lore is in the little spin-off handheld game. Like, come on, Sega, just like give me validation, bro. Like, I swear people will be way less hostile if you just give us validation, bro, please. Anyway,
like, there's like,
one more thing.
There's a Sonic historian. There's like a Sonic historian, and like you're like, tell me about Blaze and Silver's backstory, and he just takes his DS and dusts it off to like explain it.
All right, Toru, so that's a pretty good note for us to end it on. Unfortunately, next time I should remember that lore-related questions are probably best to ask you. Sorry I made you speak about something that you weren't quite as experienced on, but despite that, you did a very good job, Toru. So I hope you have a great...
No.
What?
No, I could talk for Sonic for hours on just anything. It's cool. Don't beat yourself up over it.
Oh no, I'm not beating myself up for it, but I want to remember that in the future, I think a better subject for you and I to kind of like talk about together will be, and it's not only going to be narrative. I'll still throw you a bone for other subjects. I'm just saying I want to set you up for success even better, but you did great anyway. So I got to throw it back to the chat, and then I'll bounce back to the call. But Toru, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'll see you around.
You're welcome. You too.
Thanks. All right. Okay, so you can tell that I'm kind of speed running. So I noticed I got a few more donations a while ago. So Egood Tyler donates $2 and says, I think the Wisps help with platforming. I mean, yeah, it takes what would otherwise be just jumping on platforms, and it allows you ways to skip it. I mean, some people would say that, like, for example, right, if you had like a string of platforms to kind of get across, and you got a hover wisp, and then there was like a trail of rings above it, You know, longtime fans would be like, just give me a light dash power up so I can just use light dash to skip that. But I mean, you could just make the hover wisp faster. I don't know. Or you need a way to turn off the wisps. I think having to kind of wait the duration of the whole wisp kind of breaks the pace a bit. It'd be cool if like you could grab the wisp, equip it, or like, you know, activate it, light dash, deactivate it, keep running, which is something they could add to this. I wonder if that's something they'll think about. I don't even know off the top of my head if you can deactivate it. Premi, the wisps help with cringe. Premi, I went on a long rant earlier, and I'm gonna do it right now because I know you're here. I get it, okay, but wisps are, I said wisps are the modern day equivalent, and this is gonna trigger you, I could tell, and it's gonna be a good discussion. We want this. We want this. Premi, don't go anywhere. I need you right now. Wisp hate is the modern day equivalent of people hating on Sonic's friends needlessly in the past, because Sonic's friends got hated on based on their implementation, guilty by association, right? Games like 06 weren't finished, but just because that game's not finished and isn't what it should have been doesn't mean that the friends that are around Sonic are terrible concepts and you throw them in the garbage. Wisps have benefits, and they're not the same as Sonic's friends. I explained that earlier. You're not going to want Knuckles to just pop out of a cloud and dig for you, because that's replacing Sonic characters with Wisps. And implementing a whole character, Tails deserves a level designed around him, not just a model swap. Tails deserves a level. And so if they can polish the game first, and they have to kind of lean on Wisps a little bit, that's fine. But fix the narrative. That should be the message. Like, that is the message. Wisps aren't really doing anything by themselves. It's the stories by themselves. Like, if the stories are good and Wisps are there, you'll be kind of like, there'll be memes and stuff. But if the game is good, what's the problem? What is the problem? Wisps are really not doing anything to anybody, nor are Sonic's friends, right? If the game is good and Sonic's friends are there, what, are you gonna throw it in the trash? What? What are you talking about? I don't know. I want someone to explain that to me, because right now I don't really understand. And especially since we're going to introduce a bunch of fans with Sonic Colors Ultimate, you kind of got to let it go, right? I wanted there to be a major shift too. With Movie, I thought we were going to get tweaks to Modern Sonic's design. With Rangers, it doesn't look like we're getting that. So it looks like we're welcoming in more fans that are going to be familiar with Wisps. So like, let it go, bro. You got to embrace the Wisps. And honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing, because like, they by themselves aren't the problem. If the narrative is good and they're just there as power-ups, and maybe they find a way to explain it better, why they're still there, please tell me what the issue is. And you know what? I'm actually going to invite callers in after I read what Premi said, because that should have given him ample time to give me something. But Wisps got rid of Sonic's friends. We hate them for replacing them. They're not the same. They're not the same at all. You could make that argument with elemental shields a little. I would say that there's a happy medium between elemental shields and Wisps. Unfortunately, like I said before, we're welcoming a bunch of fans with Sonic Colors Ultimate. So Wisps are probably going to be integrated in other things to maximize sales and consistency. And that seems to be a priority because Sonic's design is not shifting, and hasn't shifted for many, many years, to the detriment of people like me and Chowmix and many other people. But also a lot of people like modern Sonic's design. It's fine. If it's animated, rubber hose, true to Sonic's roots from classic and even adventure era, then modern Sonic can look good. I just don't like it when he looks super stiff in renders. Give me something good. All right. So I'm seeing Ryan targeting someone's specific opinion, so I want to see if I can find that. At Fry Grant is speaking the truth. I want to make sure that I echo that if Ryan thinks that it's worth something. But it might take too long to find. I don't know if I can find it on my own, so that might be it. Okay. At Evan, my opinion on the game is that you should call it color. Oh, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. Also, Ryan, I'm on the Tails channel account, so you can't really at me. Can you at yourself? Anyway, so this is what we should talk about, since I'm, sweating talking about it. We're going to talk about the Wisps, right? Are they guilty by association, or are they guilty because of their concept at the root of the problem? We got to spray poison on the Wisps and destroy them and completely eliminate them. And please educate me, because, I have a platform here. And I'm trying to spread information in a way that I think will get us the most out of what I'm hearing, right? I'm trying my very best to think of the most people as possible, how to get the most people satisfied, because that's what Sonic team is thinking too. And I will say, before we move on, a couple days before it was announced, the recovery system, I predicted that as well. I also predicted Sonic Mania happening. I also predicted drifting in Sonic Unleashed. I predicted a lot of things. I'm not saying I'm always right. I kind of predicted forces. I was predicting that the next mainline Sonic game would cater to adventure fans. I didn't know they would clickbait us, but regardless. So I'm not completely wrong, though I would really appreciate it if somebody would explain to me where the heck I heard about this online mode. I can't find anything. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Where am I seeing it? Maybe somebody's like adding me on Twitter right now about the online mode or something. Let me just check my ads. Can I hear you in the stage? They're trying to talk. Oh, okay. All right. So yes, please somebody help me. Yo, Evan, stop flexing. Galax lost. Okay. I'll stop flexing. I don't think I flex enough. So that's my flexing for about the next couple months. All right. I promise I'll stop for like the next couple months. I promise. All right. So is Premi on there? Is Premi on the stage? Because if he is welcome to join, like 100%. But if he ain't, okay, there's a lot of people here, so I kind of have to comb through. He might not be available to be on microphone, though, so no pressure. But let's see. I'm going to quickly skim through, and if I don't see him, I would know him right away. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it to my good buddy Sonic Pox. Since I'm familiar with Pox, and I said I was going to sandwich people who I'm super familiar with to some people that are new. So Sonic Pox, you're going to be coming in next, and you're going to be talking to us about what you think about Wisps in general. Now, I know Sonic Pox here is a massive Sonic Unleashed fan, but upon the announcement of Sonic Colors Ultimate on social media, Sonic Pox was saying pretty optimistic things in general. He's an optimistic guy in general, so don't expect a one-sided take, all right? He's a good guy. So let's see what he has to say. Poxy, oh Pox.
Oh my lord.
Hey,
is that Evan?
No, wrong stream.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought it was in the Sasso stream.
What did you think? What do you think? Who do you think it was? Come on. So first, I gotta ask you, like, how are you doing today? Having a good day?
Man, I'm all right. It's good. We got some things brewing. I've been doing a lot of jobs. I'm off on a local holiday next week, so things are good. Things are good.
Yeah, and how's the weather for you? Is it like stupid hot like it is for me?
Especially for the UK, it's hot.
Oh my gosh.
But it's raining tomorrow. So,
we're doing pretty well so far. I've been streaming for about an hour, and I'm not sweating yet, so I think we can kind of go over that. The Crazy Gamer is saying that there is an article about online multiplayer in Colors, so we're going to look at that later. The Crazy Gamer is going to forward that to me. Massive shoutouts again to the Crazy Gamer. But yeah, Sonic Pox, what do you think? What do you think of Wisps in general? This seems to be the topic we're going with. So roast him, you know, just like don't take it easy. I want to understand what people are saying here. I don't get it.
Oh man, listen. Ever since the unveiling of Colors Ultimate, I wanted to go back and see if my opinions on Colors were justified or not. You know me, right? Like ever since we've ever been talking, I've been bashing Colors like constantly, and I am a huge Unleashed stan. I totally get it. But over the last couple days, I've actually 100%ed Colors, right? I got all the S ranks, all the red rings, I did challenge mode, I did everything, right?
Right.
And I'm gonna be honest, I think I was wrong. I think Colors is actually a really solid experience, but a lot of my distaste for it more comes from the fact that a lot of Sega's mandates and benchmarks come from Sonic Colors, right? And I'm going to be quick about this because I
totally see where you're going, and I'm really agreeing. Please go.
So one of the biggest factors is the Wisps. Every time they appeared in a new game, I'm like, oh, get these things out of here. I don't want these things. Where's Tails, Knuckles, blah, blah, blah. And again, I think a lot of us can agree that the games after Colors, the Wisps weren't well integrated. Lost World, they were tacked on. 3DS and Wii U. You know, I feel like they weren't implemented very well. So with the Wisps, and this is definitely a factor that I came across with Colors, and not a lot of people seem to be, unless I'm wrong, but I only think Wisps are as good as the stages that they're in.
Yes.
Right? So Laser in Tropical Resort is way more interesting to use than Laser in Windy Hill, right?
Yes, absolutely.
they feel like another checklist of an alternate path. But in colors, you need to use those wisps to get the S ranks. Also, colors is like the last game to have challenging S ranks. Like, seriously, it was so much fun trying to get the S ranks in that game.
What about it? Is it because it gives you, because of the bonuses that it gives you?
Yeah, but it was hard. It was hard. You had to figure out what to use. You had to figure out, okay.
Doesn't it give you a drift bonus not a drift bonus, every single
Quick
time
step
a quick step bonus every single time you use it?
Yeah, but then it wears out. You can't use it all the time.
Okay.
There's so much things you need to think about, and the color powers are such a huge effector on that, right? Like you get crazy amounts of stuff from using color powers, and it almost makes you want to use them more. There are definitely some.
Wait, pause, because a very tiny thing. Please repeat what you just said, because I do want you to keep going, because you're on to something here. But I wanted to tie it into Ultimate a little bit more. It sounds like Ultimate is actually playing off of that momentum too, right? Because we have the perfect homing attack, which was featured in some of the gameplay that was released. So now you have to time your homing attack when the kind of target closes in on it, so you can get more bonuses, which means that S-ranking it is going to be even more fun than what Pog is describing.
Is that real? A perfect homing attack? Yeah,
so let me actually pull it up, but please continue while I get the article on what you were saying before, and then we'll throw it back, okay?
Okay. But there are some color powers that I think a lot of people don't really enjoy that much. Like Rocket doesn't feel like a huge thing. It's slow, it's kind of boring. Frenzy is a bit hard to control, but it's cathartic and fun and amazing. You've definitely got your favorites. You've got Drill and all that kind of stuff. Spike is great. And Generations was something that they managed to completely screw up too. It felt like, okay, we're going to Planet Wisp, so we got to put the Wisp powers in there, and it was boring. It was dumb.
Wait, this was for what again?
The Wisps in Generations, they were dumb.
Yeah,
they were boring. Yeah.
They were an afterthought. Again, like it's exactly as you said it, and you put it so well, Pox. Is you said that they're only as good as the stages they're in, right? What made Colors special, and I hope that revisiting Colors reminds them of that, because just tacking them on is just not good. It just doesn't work.
Something that that people need to understand with Sega, and in fact, a lot of people understand this, is that they tend to pull the weirdest things from games that people like
the lesson, the lesson they pull from it. Yeah. And they pull the wrong things, and they think that Colors was good because of the power-ups. And I think the Wisps were definitely a measure of hardware limitations, right? But because of that focus, they were like, right, how do we make this fun, right? Let's just move away of Sonic's abilities, take what was fun, and, put them into stages. You had, hover-based stages, and they were a bit boring, there was a stage where you had to use the laser and the spike to hit targets in Tropical Resort, and you got to think, right, what's the best way to go about this? So I think Colors is really good for the replayability with that. And the Wisps are such a huge... I always thought, before I replayed this, when I was so focused on Unleashed, is that Colors really enforced how fun the Wisps can be. But no other game has ever managed to recapture that. So it seems like what I'm seeing from the chat, and I'm seeing Chili Hog say this is exactly why the Wisps have to go, is because of what you said, Pox. And hold on before you respond to what I'm about to say too, because I want to show people the perfect homing attack, for lack of a better title, by the way. But you said Wisps are only as good as the stages that they're implemented in, and I think what it is when you combine the lack of faith that Sonic Team has from people right now, I think what it is that people don't have faith that Wisps being in the game will mean that they're going to be implemented authentically. So as I described before, if they're going to use Wisps as a band-aid solution to kind of answer the criticism from that playtesting leak from Sonic Rangers, if they just slap that on, they would be integrated in the same way that they would in Forces or Lost World or something like that. Now, just so I don't forget, because it's very likely that I won't, or I will, this is the footage that we saw that seems to indicate that there is a perfect homing attack. You can see, you might want to switch to the stream so you can see this with us, Pox, but there seems to be some sort of icon that indicates you need to time the homing attack in a certain way. I'm playing it right now. The player doesn't quite do it, or homing attack at all, but that heavily implies something. Let's see what the article says. Is Let's see. Secondly, if you take a look at the homing attack reticle locked into the spring, you'll notice that it is going from red to green to red again. This seems to imply that there could be a brand new mechanic introduced into the game. For clarification purposes and lack of official name, we will be dubbing this as the perfect homing attack, or PHA for short. So yeah, that kind of ties into what Pox was saying before, where this game might be really fun to kind of string bonuses together, string wisps together, timed homing attacks together, to get a really high score. And isn't that what Sonic's about? Is styling on the level and doing all kinds of different things, improvising.
Oh, okay, just to quickly jump in with the wisps. God, you know when you're like in the middle of one wisp and you pick up another one, and then after that one goes, you can use the one straight after? The reaction time out of after using a wisp is crazy. You can stomp after using a wisp, you can boost, you can homing attack, you can use another wisp power straight after. It's so diverse, and if you're limited to what wisps are used in a stage, but that kind of lets them be more focused. That's something that Forces did wrong, right? Like, wisps were selected in stages, but you only were relegated to the one that you had. And most of the time it was like, oh, you can use the burst one here, or you can use the lightning one there. Oh,
yeah.
It's so interesting. It's just, if, especially in an open world setting, that's going to be very like, just to quickly hop over to ranges and wisps, right? Super quickly. If the wisps are going to be in an open world setting, my god, that is going to be dangerous, because
they could use it for puzzles. I think that would make the puzzles kind of stray away from being really boring. Really?
That's scary too, because imagine this, right? If we're to think of this game as going to be kind of like very Breath of the Wild inspired, and there's puzzles dotted around the open world, these puzzles aren't going to be very intrinsic, right? Especially if they go, here's a drill wisp. Don't get me wrong, there could be like, use a drill wisp here, there is a treasure or something here, go find it. That's kind of interesting and cool, but it's still, again, relegated. It's limited.
Oh, well, it really depends on implementation, which kind of brings us back to the focus of this conversation. We won't know until we see gameplay footage, and the hope is that they used the kind of, because if they're going to lean on wisps, the expectation is that if you're going to do that, you're saving dev time, so the expectation for polish is higher. Now, I do kind of want to wrap it up because I know Premi is going to give us the negative side of this, and you've been super optimistic, and he's also an Unleashed fan, so it's going to be good for people who kind of need to, get this opinion out there, and I'm happy to provide the platform for it. So do you have any last closing thoughts about all this?
All I gotta say is, with Colors Ultimate, I hope that people can use this to really see why Colors was so liked, not only in a critical sense, but also why the fans enjoyed it, because people need to understand that Colors was its own experience before anything else happened, so I just hope that people can really rekindle that magic that Colors, that I unfortunately lost, and then brought it back.
I mean, I'm glad you got the hype back. Now, I'm also always glad to speak to you. You're such a good guy, and you're always so supportive of me. And I'm super excited for your future projects. If you haven't followed Sonic Pox yet, Sonic Pox makes wonderful 3D animations of our blue boy. So if you have not followed Sonic Pox on Twitter, check him out.
Big announcement soon, maybe, wink, wink, maybe.
I've been seeing you tease some stuff. I've seen it. I'm seeing it. All right, so I'm gonna say goodbye to you for now, but we'll talk sometime soon. Thank you again, and I'll see you around. All right,
talk to you later, bud. Take care.
See you, dude. Thanks. All right, Premi, get ready, educate me, man, because I just brought in an Unleashed fan here, and they were optimistic. All right, now that guy's normally an optimistic fellow, like I normally told you guys, but Premi, I'm gonna give you some time to prepare because I want to talk to the chat a little bit. You know how it is to be a streamer. Let's see what Starstorm is saying. Puzzles don't have to be boring in Sonic. If you have a lot of puzzles that utilize his speed, player reaction time, and pattern recognition, you can also just use momentum to make traversal puzzles. I think what made Breath of the Wild so fun is that it encourages experimentation. So I think what Pox was worried about is that it was very use the drill wisp, and then it does the thing, and there's no curiosity or experimentation. If the wisps are really flexible, then that would be fun. If it's if it's physics based and the wisps kind of play with the physics. Again, that's incredibly unlikely that that'll be the case, but again, we gotta give it a shot. So I do want to invite Premi in here because I always find that Premi has an opinion that I don't share. Now, I really do I want to talk with him because it's also like, one, it's been a long time, and he's always talking about Sonic stuff as it comes out. So he's got a really good grasp on the things that are coming out, and yeah, it's a really unique perspective. So Premi, time to educate me. I'm gonna invite you in. Let's see how this goes. Hey, Premi, how you doing?
Yo, what's going on?
All right, dude. So you're gonna have to educate me here. Why? It's gonna be real basic. I'll keep it real simple because I know you don't need the deets from me. Why do you hate Wisps so much?
Okay, I need time to like really like dissect this, but
Oh, what? I gave you so much time already.
to summarize, the Wisps are cringe, man. They're really cringe.
The cringe. That's it. That's all you got. Cringe.
No. I've got a lot to say. Okay. The year was 2010.
Oh,
I was
God.
a 15-year-old. I had been playing Sonic since about 2001, and Sonic was always so much cooler than every other character, which is why he stood out so much. And then I remember I hadn't even played Colors. I just saw the cover for the game, and I see Sonic smiling around these corny rainbow aliens, and I go, am I too old for Sonic? What am I doing with my life?
I get that. I do. Keep going, though. Keep going.
And it was the first time I actually questioned whether I was too old for Sonic. If it wasn't for Generations, I don't even think I would be here right now. But
So wait, you associate Sonic Colors and Wisps with your realization that Sonic isn't for you anymore?
Yeah, because I was 15. Like, I've been playing Sonic since I was like 6, like with SA2 onwards, and Sonic was always like cool to me. And I was
right.
All of a sudden I see these Wisps on the cover, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is this? And I didn't even play Colors. I played Colors off the gens. I left it. And then gens came out, and I came back and I played that, and I loved that. And just to put, let me put things into perspective. I don't hate the abilities. Well, some of them I do, but mostly I don't hate the abilities. My favorite level in Generations is Modern Planet Wisp, and I know that's an unpopular opinion.
It's because the beginning is so 3D. I know why. It makes sense.
Yeah, I really like the level design for that level. But let's just talk about the Wisp abilities for a second. In every game except Colors, they were bad. Let's put that out there.
At least you said that. Wow, okay. That's surprising for me to hear.
In Colors, they were not bad in terms of the abilities, right? But that's only because the best ones were just taking abilities that used to be given to actual Sonic characters and then turning them into Wisp.
But not in the same way.
Frenzy is basically what? Knuckles and Heroes. Drill is basically what? Just Knuckles on steroids?
Well, hold on. Because at some point, we knew this was going to happen. You and I were going to disagree. So just remember what you were going to say. But like, are you saying that like simply hitting an enemy is Knuckles? Like, is the boost Knuckles? Like, where do we draw the line?
It's like the way Frenzy's like wacky. It's like when you use Knuckles and Heroes to like shift from that kind of wackiness kind of thing. But my point is that a lot of the Wisp abilities are just based off real characters. It's like an attempt to, because they were getting a lot of criticism for Sonic's stupid friends and this is the stats. So they're like, how do we give Sonic variety? Because Sonic is limited in moveset. How do we give him variety without having the other characters? The reason why Heroes had so much variety is because you have 3 characters with different movesets at once. The reason why 06 had variety is because you'd be playing a level as Sonic, and then Tails would show up and you play as Tails for a while, and then you play as Knuckles for a while, and then they did that on the other stories as well. So without that, how do you add that variety? And then Azuka said, we'll just basically create characters, but they're more like power-ups, but they're still characters, and then that's essentially what the Wisps are. They're replacements for the characters. It feels like, okay, do you remember in the Sonic Boom TV show, right? Remember the Mayor Burger, the employee, right?
Yeah.
It feels like taking your favorite Sonic game and replacing Sonic with the employee at Medburger and just playing the whole game as that. And someone goes, well, it still plays good. It's got good level design. Why would you hate this? It's like, okay, the Wisps and Colors didn't play badly. Okay.
So you're saying it's like it's just not the character that you're trying to play when you play a Sonic game?
Exactly. The whole aesthetic of the Wisps, the way they speak, the way they look, the whole like the way they interact with Sonic, in and of itself is the epitome of meta era. The whole tone of it is the antithesis of what the adventure era was about, and it's the reason why a lot of people from the era just don't like them. They don't
Okay.
want Sonic to be around them.
Here's the thing, though. You know how long the meta era has been around, right? And I think it's a little... Okay, you're going to have something to say about this. I'm gonna give you the floor after I say this, but here it comes. I'm just letting you know. I think it's a little gatekeeping to say we got to get rid of the Wisps instead of fixing them, right? Because you're bringing up a lot of good points that I agree with. And I said earlier,
Sonic's a good point, though.
Sonic's tone needs to change, and Sonic's narrative needs to be better. And I need to vibe with you for a second. When I first got Sonic 06, my mom tricked me and surprised me because it was around my birthday, and she said she was going to the store to get milk, and she said, "Can I take the groceries in?" And I opened the bag of milk, and 06 was next to the bag of milk, in Canada, and I saw Sonic 06. I was literally shaking. I was super excited for that game, and I wasn't that let down by it. That's the kind of game I want for Sonic. I'm with you on that. I don't think that Wisps have to be thrown out, because I know a lot of people like them, and I can immediately relate, because I don't want... What if people... Like, again, there's so many people out there that think Sonic's friends are stupid, but that's not fair.
That's the point, though. You just made a point. You said, why should we throw away the Wisps just because they haven't worked? Why don't we just try and fix them? But then inherently, the Wisp themselves is them throwing away Sonic's friends and trying to find like a way to like patch up that situation. So the Wisps in and of themselves were a crutch for getting rid of Sonic's friends. So that means they never even fixed that to begin with.
Well, ideally, again, I want Sonic's friends to be playable. I made that pretty clear with how much I appreciate them and how I don't want them to be omitted either. But ideally, you could still have Wisps exist and multiple playable characters. I understand that things like Hover Wisp make Tails null and void, but you got to remember that in Colors, the game that you say Wisps are implemented the best in, there's only a couple like Wisps available per stage, and they design the levels around those Wisps in question. So if Tails was playable in Sonic Colors, they design a level around Tails' flight, but they can ground Tails a little bit more if they give him Wisp power-ups. The problem in Sonic Adventure 1 with Tails is that he was freaking broken, dude, and you couldn't really enjoy flying around because his limitless movement
is not a result of lack of Wisp, though. I mean, that has nothing to do with that. Though.
Well, it could be, now again, we're all theorizing here, but it could be that Tails worked really well in 2D because you could just put a ceiling over him and he could stop flying. So 3 and Knuckles worked really well. But in 3D, what are you going to do? Put him in a room all the time and limit his movement?
Tails and Heroes had a gauge. You know, you couldn't overdo it.
And I liked that. But again, are you going to design every level around flight? Or are you going to sprinkle in, some salt and pepper, some variety with Wisps, with Tails?
But again, that's okay. So I have a question for you. If we got another game like Adventure, like Adventure 1, where you got like 6 stories, 6 different characters with their own playstyle, isn't the whole gimmick of a different playstyle that it's kind of similar to Sonic, but it has its own unique moveset, right?
Yeah.
Where would the Wisp really realistically fit into that? The whole point of the Wisp is that it's supposed to supplement a game where you're just playing as Sonic, where all you're doing is doing Sonic, he can boost, he can quick step, the same move. So the Wisp is there to supplement that so it doesn't get boring, right? But if you already have 6 playable characters, when would the Wisp even fit in? When would Knuckles need to use the laser Wisp? Or when would Shadow need to use Frenzy? Like, you know what I mean?
So there's a couple things. I can imagine, I mean, we're talking super hypothetical here, but it's like I said before, they add variety. So as you progress through a stage, for example, some of the reasons why Sonic 3 and Knuckles is considered one of the best Sonic games is, I mean, of course, the level design, but one big thing is they have level-specific gimmicks. And Wisps just kind of add another level-specific gimmick because they are level-specific in Colors, right? You have a pair of Wisps you can use, and the level is designed around that. So say you're treasure hunting in this hypothetical game we're talking about. Maybe you have to push blocks that have that little laser crystal in them in a certain way, and then they all light up at the same time because you put them in the right spot, a la Zelda. But then you use the Wisp, and it gets you to a spot you couldn't otherwise access with Knuckles' normal abilities. I don't think that's a problem.
An upgrade, like in the Adventure era.
An upgrade? I mean, but the thing is, the upgrades in the adventure era are the shovel claw, a light speed attack ripoff that I'm forgetting the name of, and then he has glasses that allow him to see other things he couldn't see before. Wisps are arguably more engaging than all of those power-ups. You don't really need them.
You could have power-ups that are like upgrades. Like you could give them upgrades that are not living aliens, right? Like,
right, but again, then it brings it back to, we don't want to gatekeep from the people who have experienced Wisps and are familiar with Wisps for 10 years. So in the same way that we don't want to completely get rid of Sonic's friends, ideally we would include as many things as possible. So we are talking about hypotheticals. Ideally we'd have 6 playable characters and they could use some Wisps, but we know we're not getting that.
Wouldn't that be a bit, I feel like it would be a bit convoluted, because it feels like they do clash, right? Any character that isn't Sonic and then Wisp, they seem like they're kind of doing similar things, which is why we've never really seen them together in a game, except maybe Runners, where everyone's kind of playing around the same, and the Wisps are just basic abilities there, you know? Because how would you realistically have 6 playable characters in a game and still have room to give them all Wisps that are like integrated into the level design? It feels like a bit of biting off more than you can chew.
Okay, so then you're actually teaching me something here, because the part that I just learned is that it's because of the awareness that there is this limit of how large scale a Sonic game is going to be, especially with games we've gotten recently, you know, pretty budget titles. So I think the concern is, why are Wisps in there when we want the spotlight to be on characters that have like historical value to the community? And I agree with you, I do, but here's the thing, I just don't agree with eliminating the Wisps as a message. Like, say this game we're talking about, right? So we're taking the scale into account and what Sonic Team is capable of doing, and I agree with you, they should prioritize multiple playable characters first over Wisps, absolutely, because they have history, and again, I want that validation of being a fan. I want to see Shadow do things that refer to his past experiences. I want to see that stuff too. But if it's going to take up too much dev time to include Wisps and Shadow at the same time, Wisps can exist in the narrative, right? Like if they're like an NPC, a lost Wisp mission, they can exist in the lore, but priority should be the other characters. Are we on the same page?
Almost, but I need to specify something, because in this scenario we're talking about mechanics. You have to remember there's also the tone thing that we're talking about. Like,
I've always agreed with you on that, though. Always agreed with you on tone.
Yeah, so a lot of franchises have pillars, right? You could have a more cringy Wisp pillar where you've got like Sonic games that have Wisp, but then you could also have Sonic games that have a more dark tone, right? Like, could you actually imagine Wisps in like the cutscenes of Shadow the Hedgehog the game? Like, imagine what that would look like, just Yakka there instead of, you know, Black Doom. You know, it wouldn't work. So for the people that want the serious tone to come back, thinking of, you know, Sonic and Tails translating for Yakka, it just, you know, even if we somehow find a way for the abilities to still be there in a game of multiple playable characters, you still have to deal with the fact that they exist, unless you do it like, you know, the Boost Wisp Enforcers, where it's not in any of the cutscenes, it's just in the levels, and I guess you could kind of get away with it there, but would you really want it there unless you were like a fan of that era? I don't know. I mean, that's why pillars are so important.
Here's the thing, though. It doesn't seem like we're going to get pillars yet.
I mean, Mania was a pillar. They didn't put any Wisps in there. They didn't put any modern characters. Like, they could have added Shadow or Silver to Mania. They didn't do that because they wanted to appease the classic fans, right? They did that for them.
But if you take into account all the leaks, not the leaks, but the quote-unquote leaks, or the Zippo posts, blog posts rather, saying that like it's classic Sonic is seen as, you know, very old hat there. I think that's the quote from Zippo. I mean, Sonic Origins, it's not new content, so I think the days of new classic Sonic are over. I know I made a video call as multiple Sonics bad, and I wanted there to be pillars, so I initially agreed with you, but ever since the announcement of Rangers, I think they're going for some sort of consistency, and we need to decide what we're going to ask for, right? Because it's clear that there's a high demand between you and I for a greater focus on lore, but we also we're not really talking about consistency as much. And I know you're talking about how it would be really weird if in a game like Shadow the Hedgehog, Yakker's there. I agree with you, it'd be weird. The idea is that what they do in Sonic Rangers is some sort of style that can include both things. And here's a good point for you, but we do need to wrap it up after you respond to what I'm going to say, because we talked for a while. You deserve it, but I do have to move on at some point. However, a game like Sonic Unleashed, I think, does a really good job at balancing lighthearted elements, Chip being almost like a Looney Tunes-esque character, literally using sound effects from old cartoons, but there's also some dark moments in that game. And I think that if we're going to talk about tone and style by itself, I think Unleashed got the closest to combining them together. And if Rangers does something like that, I think Wisps can exist in an Unleashed-like art style. But I also think that there can be some more darker tones in a narrative like that. What would you say to that?
I'm never gonna say that a Sonic game is bad simply because Wisps are in it, right?
Right.
But like, because obviously gameplay, rules over all.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like, we're ranking like stories and cutscenes, if the Wisps are a part of that, like if they're just in the levels or not in the cutscenes, then that's different. But if they're a part of the story and Yakura's walking around Sonic and Tails and the Cyan Wisp is there, it's just never going to hit the same for me personally. That's just how I feel.
I mean,
I know a lot of people grew up on them. I don't know what they see in the Wisps. Is it the abilities, or is it they just like the characters themselves? I don't know. But for me, I just don't see a way where I can go in there.
I don't think you have to worry about that because, I mean, with as much of a joke as it sounded like to me when I was reacting to Sonic Central, and I'll say this every time, because they made fun of, like, a Sonic Schoolhouse 2. Like, I genuinely thought Sonic Colors Rise of the Wisp was another joke. But in the title, it says Rise of the Wisp, and Sonic Colors is the focus game of introducing Wisps. So I don't think they're ever...
Like, Izuku is just telling us like how much he loves these things and how they're never going away.
Well, here's the thing: I don't think they're ever going to have the narrative focus again. So don't know if you have to worry about what you're describing. I know you and I could probably go back and forth for hours, and I'm going to be doing more of these live discussions. So I'll try to give you a heads up when we're doing them if I remember, and we'll definitely have you back on because it's always interesting to talk to you. Because I do feel like I agree with you most of the time. I think the way we go about explaining our opinions is just a little bit different. So I did learn a lot from you. So this is really great. I do have to say goodbye, though. So thank you, actually, for going to the trouble of getting into the server and waiting the 6 minutes and all that. I know it was a little tricky.
I like 10 plus minutes, but it's cool.
Oh, sorry about that again. But at least you won't have to do it next time unless you leave again or something. Stay! Anyway, I'll catch you next time, all right? See you, dude.
Cool, man.
All right, so I know I've been neglecting the chat for a very, very long time. So chat, this is where I'm going to chat with you for a little bit. We're still going to be streaming a little bit longer, so don't worry. I realize that when I'm talking to the chat, I should probably switch to this screen so that you can tell that I'm not calling anymore. But so that was actually really interesting talking to Premi. Now, I know, not everybody sees eye to eye with Premi, but sometimes I do, right? And we need to be able to respectively discuss with people that disagree with us if we want to focus our message to Sonic Team and Sega. I know it can be really hard and frustrating with how fragmented we all are, but if we just close the doors to that, we're only contributing to how fragmented we already are. If we can find a focused voice, we can push along the right message. And I think I learned a lot about why people reject Wisps so heavily. And I think the message from what I got, to recap, from what I got from Prem, it's that we want the focus to be Sonic characters, other Sonic characters, because they have history. Again, that being a fan for a long time, we need that validation because we don't get it. They always reinvent the narrative wheel for every game, and they all exist in a kind of a separate almost universe. Like, the only thing we see of, like, Earth and Colors is them on a grassy field, Like, why not Station Square? Something. So that we can be like, oh, I know where that is. Something. Please. Like, people introduced to the Sonic series late will just see them sitting in a city. They're not going to think about it, but at least give us that. I don't know. What do you guys think? All right. Corey said, I think that how the Jade Ghost Wisp is implemented in the game will be a good parameter for seeing whether or not we want the Wisps in future games. I wonder what you mean by that, Corey. I think it's just going to be in general how Ultimate goes if we see Wisps in the future. I mean, of course, if Colors Ultimate tanks, which I don't think it will, but if it does, then we probably won't see a lot of Wisps in the future. But I don't see that being the case. I think Colors Ultimate is going to do really well, whether or not the community is accepting of it. I was really tempted to join the call. I should collect my thoughts in the future. Don't worry, there will be future chances. Gustart says, so what do you guys... so what you guys were talking, if we're to have the Wisps and Sonic Rangers, they could be like items, so you have a limited amount on them and also have to know when and how to use them. Yeah, that's a lot like Breath of the Wild, and it kind of lends itself to that concept. And again, if they can save dev time from designing like other equipment that Sonic can collect and stuff like that, like I get that the ideal scenario would be that like maybe there's special equipment Sonic can get and he can like customize and upgrade it with a skill tree, and it like makes him look visually different, and it fits in with the aesthetic of that weird like old language, you know, and like that we use that instead of Wisps. I get it. That's best case scenario. But if we take what Prem was saying earlier, right, and we're all nervous about how the scale of this game is going to be because of what we've gotten in the past, save that dev time, polish that open world game, which needs it so much, and just skip all that, what I just said, if it means that the open world gameplay is going to be more fun. Right? If you need more time to incorporate momentum-based gameplay, choose momentum-based gameplay over getting rid of Wisps. That takes priority. Now, what takes priority over Wisps is friends, if you can, but if that's too much, momentum gameplay and Wisps, that takes priority. And Prem was even saying that the game, he's not going to say the game is bad because Wisps are there. If the game is good, it's good. So that takes priority. So I think we can all figure this out. I think I was expecting a DM from the Crazy Gamer regarding a article with online play, and I don't know if I got it yet. Wait, hold on. We mods can't request to speak on stage. We can, however, join at any time, but I ain't doing that, but I want to. So mods can join at any time. I don't know how to disable that, so you're gonna have to figure that out on your end. I actually am gonna have to figure that out on a later date, because I'm not exactly sure how to do that. All right, I'm gonna talk to the chat a little bit more. Main gameplay is more important than gimmicks. Absolutely, right? And that's exactly what I was just saying, Sponge. I was saying the exact same thing. Did you guys notice that I switched to Sonic 06 right when Premi got in here? That was for you, Prem. I hope you noticed it. Guys, here's a really quick tip for you. Don't buy or pre-order Sonic Colors Ultimate. Boot the game on an emulator instead. Abosu, I do not agree with that at all. This is going to have a lot of extra features, and there's still more announcements to come regarding Sonic Colors Ultimate. And if I can get the article has been sent via Twitter, Evan. Okay, thank you so much. I'll right on cue the Crazy Gamer, because especially considering that we might have a online mode. So let's actually switch to this article and see. So it is from Nintendo Soup. I don't know how accurate their reporting is. So let's just take a look at this while we can. Right here. Okay, Sonic Colors Ultimate will receive online multiplayer and early access edition. Let's see here. Let's look. Supports up to 2 online players with PS Plus. Online play enabled, 1 to 2 players, 2 network players. Along with the Ducks Edition, the game reveals an online multiplayer. So this is what I saw. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. So yes, this is the online mode that I've been talking about. The Crazy Gamer, ironically, me trying to justify that I'm not crazy, but I was sent by Crazy Gamer my validation of not being crazy. Anyway, it exists, okay? I'm not crazy. So I'm really banking on this online mode to be explained in the future, because if it is not, because we know there's going to be more Sonic Centrals in the future, okay? And they gotta talk about something. And so they're going to talk about Sonic Rangers, but they're also going to have more information on Sonic Origins, and I don't think they've said everything about Sonic Colors Ultimate yet. So I think we're going to get a better indication of how many wearables we're going to have, and the online mode, which they literally did not talk about, but yet it's mentioned here. So I'm not crazy. All right, sure, Evan, you're not crazy, says Danny. Why? Why, Danny? Why? And before online is just a leaderboard. Dude. Hold on. Let me see if I can find a more... Maybe there's more in this article. No, it doesn't say anything else. It can't be. No. Supports up to 2 online players. It says 2 players. 1 to 2 players. Online 2 players. I really hope it's not just the existing 2-player. That could be the case. it says online though, and there's customizable skins, and you get player icons, which seem to indicate that you can customize like a profile. Then again, there are the customized save icons in the base game that I am familiar with. I don't know. I just really want it to be a robust online mode, okay? All right? Chili Hog, why do people think I'm crazy, dude? I don't know. Oh, dang. Egg shuttle leaderboards. I don't think it's going to be that, Shahars. No way. No way. I mean, that existed in the original Wii version, but what would be the point of customizing the way Sonic looks if you can't race? I mean, I guess Crash 4 did that? Galaxy Laws says, okay, so I think that Wisps is possible if they just stay in the lore. Sonic's friends should be the top priority. Sonic's moveset should feel great. If they're doing open world, they gotta implement momentum. I agree, but it's not impossible for an open world Sonic game to work without momentum. And the only reason I say that, I don't have any like explanation as to how that would go. I just think it's not impossible for them to find a way to do it in another way, and another new, surprising way that we haven't conceptualized yet. I'm being optimistic when I say that. What is it? Mediocre best 50 says Colors is generally respected because it came out after the Dark Age. His story is going to repeat itself since Colors Ultimate is coming out as we're in the tail end of the Great Sonic Drought. Colors is generally respected because it came out after the Dark Age. Yeah, so I think it's going to... I think that makes sense. I think it's trying to remind people of that era after something like Forces, though. In the interview that was recently posted on TalesChannel.com, Azuka is talking about, and this was actually just posted, what was it? Today. Azuka's talking about... Here we go, actually. I can put it right on screen right now. Give me a sec. So Azuka said, the number of fans have been steadily growing. Those that liked the first games with Sonic Mania, and those that are loving this with the series since Sonic Forces, and fans that are keen into racing games with Team Sonic Racing. So I can't talk seriously when the song is on. Let me switch it. All right, that's a good song. All right, give me. It's not that I didn't like the other song; it's just the tone didn't really fit with what I was going for. But yeah, he's actually like praising Sonic Forces and for having fans and stuff. And I mean, I don't know. I've heard so many mixed things about how that game was sold. But oh hey, look, we're getting Ryan linking the articles in questions so that people can look at them for themselves. Yeah, so he's mainly talking about the movie's success though. And I can echo that, being a teacher and seeing the impact that the movie has had. A lot of kids are now really interested in Sonic, and if you got to make the game really, really easy and accessible for those fans, get them. But something that's interesting is they talk about how, near the end of the article, they talk about how for the 30th anniversary, they want to... Well, they talk about the other anniversaries too. So this, I think I want to read the full quote. So for the 10th and 20th anniversaries, Azuka said, we celebrated the fans of the series. But for the 30th anniversary, I'd like to do something that would create and bring the biggest possible number of fans. Now, initially when we hear that, we're thinking, uh-oh, this is going to be a lot like Forces, right? Because they tried to appease to as many fans as possible. He also strategically omits the 25th anniversary, where they did say that they want to appease to as many fans as possible. I think that was already made clear to me when they continue to use the modern Sonic model as we know it. I think they're committing to consistency, and they're trying to build on the momentum of Forces, even though it was a polarizing game. And I think that's an okay decision, because Forces is the only reason Forces is guilty is because of its lies and its marketing, in my opinion. The game itself is not that offensive. It's just mediocre and a lot of nothing. And it's not deserving of a 25th anniversary title. I wish it didn't come out at that time. And I wish it didn't make false promises. And that's my take on it. Whether or not you think they lied to us in the marketing is completely subjective, but that was my experience as an adventure fan, seemingly being catered to. And I mean, there is the absolute undeniable fact that they said that this was brought to you by the team of Generations and Colors, and a vast majority of Generations devs were nowhere to be seen on the credits list of Forces. So it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I still respect you if you enjoyed Sonic Forces. All right, so we've talked to the chat for a little while, and I'm sorry if I didn't get a chance to address any of your talking points, but I will invite more people into the call now. So it is time. Let me take a look at who is waiting in the call. I'm going to throw it to somebody that I am less familiar with for the next 2 callers, because I had 2 people back-to-back that I was very familiar with. But I still want to be sort of familiar with you. So if you are a regular and you want to talk, we'll bring you in and chat. There's always a chance that someone's mic won't be that great. And also, if you were already featured on last week's live discussion, unfortunately, I probably won't have you, just, you know, for the sake of, you know, spreading the love the most I can. Unfortunately, I don't have all day to do this, and I would get to everybody if I can, but I'm just not Santa Claus. I can't do it, all right? All right, so I'm seeing a few people that I recognize. I'm seeing... Let's see. Before I say any names, I want to make sure... So I'm seeing Lady Luna, who I recognize from being in the chat, but I don't remember ever calling with Lady Luna. So Lady Luna, I'm probably going to invite you in. So we need a topic to talk about. So it's basically going to be what we were just talking about. So we were just talking about... What were we just talking about? We were talking about Rangers now, so we might as well just go with that. Lady Luna. Wait, let me look them up on Twitter, because I'm seeing Calvi is saying Lady Luna is a great modder. Now I need to remind myself of who this person is before I embarrass myself. Lady Luna. Lady Luna. Oh, I think I recognize Lady Luna. I'm seeing models. Opal's barking in the background. Shout out. Nice model work though, Lady Luna. So I think we're going to, you know what? Since I can't remember what we're talking about, we're going to bring it a little bit back to the discussion on the visuals of the game, Lady Luna. Especially considering you're a 3D modeler, I'm imagining you know a little bit more about this than I do. And while we talk about it, I'm actually going to show Sam Procrastinate's comparison for a little B-roll footage. So let me just switch to this screen so we can kind of compare the 2 games as we go through it. So Lady Luna, here we go. I'm inviting you. Oh, the video paused. Or no, it's staying like that. Lady Luna, how you doing?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm here. I'm doing good.
So
I'm doing good.
I don't know if you heard what I said I was going to talk to you about, so I'll just I'll rephrase it. But right now we're looking at comparison footage of Sonic Colors on Wii on original hardware compared to the reveal trailer of Sonic Colors Ultimate. So kind of, I guess just in general, what are your takes on the visuals we've seen so far?
My take on the visuals is that it's very early. I think the event, the initial trailer, I feel the event was kind of rushed.
The Sonic Central in general?
Really, yeah, like the Sonic Central, some aspects of it felt very rushed out because they had to clarify some stuff afterwards. And it's another trend that we see with the Sonic Colors reveal trailer, because the trailer and then the first screenshots we got already looked different. And then a few, like 2 days ago or 1 day ago, whatever, we got to see more screenshots from Famitsu, and those again looked very visually different. So I feel every time we see this game, it looks slightly updated, it looks slightly different. So on the visuals, I'm still very hopeful on like, hey, this all looks very work in progress. It can still be updated before it releases. We're still quite a few months away. I feel that they're gonna patch out probably the excessive bloom. They're gonna adjust the post-processing a little bit. They're gonna fix a few of the kinks.
I agree with you. I think that, yeah, because it seems to be that's the case. As you were saying before, Lady Luna, is, yeah, every screenshot we get looks a little different, and there's no way we can know for sure which one is closer, because I mean, if history is true, Sega's organization isn't always flawless, so it's very possible that these screenshots are just, you know, taken during dev time, and producers just are like, that one, and I like that one, and I want to show the drill wisp here in that way, and the devs are kind of powerless as to which ones are shown. They could say all they want, and this kind of shot, I don't know if it looks very great, it kind of shows our mistake. but they're powerless in the end.
Yeah.
The producer's just going to be like, I want to show this one because I want to. I'm making this up, but it seems like none of them are consistent. They all look different, and so that's the only thing I can guess is the case. But that one looked really good. The one that was on screen right now, it's overall brighter. So I'm optimistic about the visuals too. Was there more you wanted to say?
It's funny you mentioned this, like this show this, because this game is not being remastered by Sonic Team or anything like that. It's not being done by Sega themselves. It's being outsourced to a company called Blind Squirrel.
Right. Did I imply that it was made by Sonic Team? I'm sorry if I did that. I knew that all along that it wasn't.
Yeah. Like, the interesting thing about this remaster is that it's not actually a remaster. It's a full-on remake. Because if you want to know some technical details, the original Sonic Colors actually does run on the Hedgehog engine.
Like, oh, right. Are you talking about how they were showcasing the Hedgehog engine and they were using, like, Camelot Castle from Sonic Black Knight to test, like, the lighting? No.
The final released version of Sonic Colors actually runs on the Hedgehog engine.
Are you so I've heard mixed things about this, so this is a time for you to teach me, because the Hedgehog engine, as I know it, was not developed for Wii, and I don't think it's possible to run on the Wii.
The weird thing about it is there's a lot of confusion about the Hedgehog engine because it was marketed as a lighting engine exclusively. This is not true. The Hedgehog engine is a full-fledged game engine, just like Unity, Unreal, Fox Engine, what have you.
But what about the games that aren't? What about the games that aren't Sonic games that use the Hedgehog engine? What do you say to that?
Especially lately, Sega themselves have really been shifting to using the Hedgehog engine, even for their own like projects that aren't Sonic, like Puyo Puyo 2, Sakura Wars.
So why do you think they refer to it as the Hedgehog engine still, if it is a gameplay engine as you say it is? Does that make sense, or is it just because they're labeling things incorrectly?
I feel it's a leftover because it started out as an engine specifically made for Sonic, but it's grown larger than that. So they're adapting it for other stuff, but it still kept the original name because we see this with the Resident Evil engine, the RE engine as well. It's now being used for Devil May Cry as well.
There's not much I can say about that because I feel like you're just taking me to school on this subject. All I can really say is that I just realized in watching this footage that Sonic, similar to Generations, actually has a modeled mouth. You can actually see his mouth open. Let me actually go back a couple frames. I think it actually opens. Hold on.
Yeah, so the thing is, Sonic Colors runs on a partial version of the Hedgehog engine. The game logic, the objects, all that, it's actually from the Hedgehog engine. Pretty much directly taken from, developed at the same time as Generations. The lighting engine, though, was swapped out for Nintendo's own rendering engine.
Oh,
the stuff that Nintendo used.
They gave that away?
Nintendo used. Yeah, they actually gave Sega permission to use their visual engine, which is why Colors has probably been not re-released for this long, because what that means is they have Nintendo code in Colors.
So they had to remake it, is what you're saying?
Yes.
They needed that. So, and that's why there's so many lighting issues, is because they're trying to emulate an engine they never made.
Yeah, they're remaking the game from scratch because they're remaking it in a completely different engine known as the Godot engine, which is an open source engine.
Oh man, so I didn't. You blew my expectations completely out of the water. Thank you so much for teaching me about this. I did not know all of this, but I am going to throw it to another unfamiliar face to chat a little bit more about another subject, just to kind of wrap up the stream, because I think we've been going for almost 2 hours now. But Lady Luna, it was a pleasure to meet you. And I know I've seen you in the chat many, many times, so thank you so much for supporting us all this time. And
it's been fun.
I love doing this and interacting with Sonic fans. It's really, really fun. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to assume you were a Sonic fan. You like Sonic, right?
Oh, of course.
Okay, great. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and hopefully I'll be able to talk to you some other time.
Yeah.
Bye, Lady Luna. Alrighty. So, that was a really great talk. I agree, Dion. That was, I mean, for some people, it probably was a little bit over their head, but I think we needed to talk about that, especially since the thumbnail is like, the Bloom of Doom. I wanted to kind of have a portion of our live stream where somebody experienced spoke about it, so we got very lucky about that. So, Lady Luna, again, massive shout-outs. Thank you for being here to kind of compensate for my lack of experience in that regard, and justify the existence of my thumbnail, which I am kind of proud of. I think it looks cool and funny. All right, so let's see. At this point of the live stream, we're getting close to the end, but I want to get some subjects from you guys. So now that we're nearing the end, what are some things you want to talk about in regards to Colors Ultimate that we haven't covered yet? We covered a lot of angles, but we haven't covered everything. I'm sure there's something we've forgotten. So what do you guys think, chat? What have we forgotten to talk about that we need to talk about? No 2D, but they want colors same. I mean, what? I don't know what you're talking about, Fazell. Maybe we can, let's see. I'm just gonna look through the chat now. I'm looking at you guys. It's up to you. Music remixes, that's, I mean, I can chat about that quickly, but we haven't heard any of them. Once we start hearing them, Sylvix Zero will be able to kind of react to them. I'm sure we'll be reacting to them on Tails channel. So if you're not subscribed and you don't want to miss a reaction to the soundtrack as it comes out, we're not going to react to every song, but when the first one comes out, we're going to kind of get an indication of what their direction is going to be. And I'm really excited because the Reach for the Stars, rather, it sounds really good in Rise of the Wisp. If you didn't know that that was a remix, or it's part of this new soundtrack, that was confirmed by Otani on Twitter. So go rewatch Rise of the Wisps on Sonic Official's YouTube and listen to Reach for the Stars and how it's presented, because I believe that is going to be the version of Reach for the Stars that releases with Sonic Colors Ultimate. And it sounds really, really great. So I'm overall excited for the soundtrack, and I already really liked Sonic Colors soundtrack, so not much else to say about that, though. Pontaf being on the team, we did talk about that a lot, or no, a little bit. Mestro, Epic Loser, but I don't really think there's enough to kind of go off of what's going to happen either way, because it's still unclear if we're going to get the story kind of retold or if the animation is just going to kind of fit like a puzzle piece into the story that already exists. Because the Jade Wisp is added to the game, it does kind of imply that there's going to be some tweaks in the game itself, but maybe not. Maybe they're just trying to kind of make that cartoon fit, but it won't really affect the cutscenes. They did mention that the cutscenes will be remade for this game, but that shouldn't come to a surprise to anybody at this point, since they're remaking the whole game, as Lady Luna beautifully put earlier, and gave us a very good reason as to why. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Ooh, we should talk about the Metal Sonic mode. So the Eternal Samurai, the Metal Sonic mode, as far as I know, is something that is referred to as the Rival Rush mode, and it sounds like you're just racing Metal Sonic. I wonder if Metal Sonic will be able to use Wisps as well. I imagine he will, because he'll lose every single time if he doesn't. So it'll be interesting. Metal Sonic will almost be teaching you fast routes. So he's going to be used as a way to kind of teach the newer players that this game is going to be marketed towards how to play Sonic. So that's actually a really clever mode if you think about it, because they're going to have to get through the level fast enough to beat Metal Sonic, and it's an extra challenge for them, and it adds to the playtime, right? I'm gonna have fun doing that. I just hope that because that's another reason why I think you're gonna be able to race through these levels with other players, because if you're already loading Metal Sonic as a model and Sonic in the model, and you're racing through a whole stage, so you're theoretically going to have two characters activate Wisps at the same time, going through the levels, that you already are testing the engine for two players going through the whole level, right? Now, I don't know a lot about coding and programming, so maybe somebody that I bring on next knows that, and I'm going to look for somebody if I recognize anybody. However, I don't imagine that at that point there's much more work left to do. I mean, of course, there's the big question of, like, implementing an online mode is complicated, but that would be, I think, the only hurdle, and so it's now or never kind of thing, right? Like, we need those extra modes. It seems like we're getting them. You need to get something. You need some sort of feature that doesn't require you to develop any new assets, but adds a nice spin to the game, so it incentivizes other fans buying it. And we've never gotten an online mode for any of these boost games. Please, man. I don't mean to get people's hopes up, but I really want this. I really, really want this. So I talked about that for a long time. So why don't we? I feel like, imagine picking Metal Sonic and getting dunked on because you can't access a core feature of the game. And getting dunked on because you can't access a core... Oh, picking Metal Sonic in multiplayer, Dion, and then getting dunked on because you can't use him? No, I'm pretty sure that... Because it's not confirmed whether or not you're going to be able to actually play as Metal Sonic, as an unlockable character. That's something I theorized happening, Dion, just because there's going to be animations existing for him. So again, I'm kind of connecting the dots. I'm seeing all the other extra content they have going on here, and I'm considering that Metal Sonic's abilities aren't different from Sonic's like Tails would be. So when people think... when people thought Tails was going to be in the game, I felt like even if he was, it wasn't going to feel right, because Tails deserves levels designed around his abilities. Metal Sonic is different because his abilities are the same as Sonic's, and so it is just a model swap. And I appreciate that, because he is still technically a different character, and it makes sense that after completing all the Rival Rush challenges, you would get something for it. So I'm theorizing that that would be what you get, because it would be, I guess, the most cost-effective, resource-effective way of rewarding the player. I don't know. It's all really up in the air because of the success of the movie. We have no indication of what the scale of what we're getting is, because they keep saying stuff like the Sonic community is now bigger, it's steadily growing, and a lot more young fans are on board. And that's good. Hopefully the games increase in scale to compensate. It would make sense if they did, and that's why I'm optimistic, is that I'm hoping the scale will increase with the fandom increasing. If it doesn't, then it kind of gives me the indication that Sega's not willing to take the risk when it's obvious that the brand has influence. It just doesn't make sense to me, and that's why I can't be kind of down in the dumps about Sonic, because it doesn't make sense that they wouldn't take advantage of this moment, an opportunity that hasn't come by for them for many, many years. Sonic to be mainstream, you gotta run with it. And so far, it seems like they are going to. We're gonna have to wait and see. So you know what? Since I haven't really found anything from the chat that can I copy paste my previous message if you wanted to talk about the Bloom of Doom? The Frosted Firefly, you can, but I think what I'm gonna do is, because there's something I wanted to talk about, and I don't know, maybe I should save that for another time. I think I'm gonna save that for another stream. You know, us content creators, we got to save our ideas. You know, we don't want to reveal all our cards yet. So I think I'm gonna pause on that. Jamie asks, what do you think of SA2 with Wisps? What? You mean like a remake? I mean, if they were gonna like rewrite the story and try to make it fit into the existing Sonic games, but like Sonic Rangers was really good, and then they're gonna go with that with the norm, and then like the Adventure 2 remake is... There's too many hypotheticals, right? So go back to the part where I was talking with Prem, where like Unleashed's tone, I think, can kind of bridge the gap between Wisps and darker tone Sonic things. Not Shadow the Hedgehog dark, but you know, more serious aspects of the series. I think Unleashed is a good middle ground, and so if that's the direction that Rangers takes, I think, yeah, we can have an Adventure 2 remake where Wisps makes sense, but I understand people hate that. But all I can think of is in a Chow race, you have Wisps and you can throw them at the Chow, or you can change how the Chow Garden or the Chows evolve with Wisps. I can only think of good things. I'm sorry, and Chow Mix is here now too, so he's gonna roast me for not wanting to get rid of Wisps. I just talked about it with Prem for so long, dude. I'm sorry, we don't have the time to talk about it right now, but please go back in the archive and listen to our discussion. I think Prem has your side on it. I know you aggressively hate them, and I'm not entirely against you, but unfortunately, we don't have time to talk about it now since we've already moved on from that subject. I would, David, add Chow Mix to the call, but again, we already covered the subject material. And I already promised that the next person would be somebody I'm less familiar with, because the other two people I talked to before were people I was familiar with. So how about I just throw myself into it and I choose somebody that I recognize, but at the same time kind of recognize too. Right now I'm looking at who is in here. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go with T Deleter. I think I am going to go with T Deleter because they seem to be nitro boosting us too. So T Deleter, you're going to be up next to talk. Let me grab a subject from the chat. Again, I'm kind of lost as to where we should go from here. This is probably going to be the last caller we have on, so I'm sorry if you're waiting to speak. T Deleter is going to be our last guest on. I feel myself melting a little bit, but we got a solid 2 hours in there, which is twice as long as we used to go the past couple years. So I think I did a pretty good job. And also, there's not much more for us to talk about at this point. All right, so do you think Hypersonic will return in Rangers or Ultimate? That's a pretty easy question for me to answer, and it's not a really juicy one, but I can answer it right now for you, Ultra. Hypersonic is something that I don't know if they're going to revisit because it's a lot of emeralds. Super emeralds. I don't know if they're separate emeralds. I think they're upgraded versions of the Chaos Emeralds. If they go in a more lore heavy direction, I'd like them to clarify how that kind of works before they introduce Hypersonic, and I want it to feel deserved. I think that that's something that should be a back pocket idea narratively for them to reveal to make a big deal. Because imagine Sonic becomes lore focused, and from game to game, we're following the narrative, and we're you know, putting together like clues and stuff. And we get to make speculative videos on the narrative too. Because like people roast Sonic fans for making speculative videos, but like we need to make content and we love Sonic and we want to interact with the community. It's not our fault there's nothing else to theorize about besides the gameplay. We don't want to do this. We want to theorize about the narrative. And we used to be able to. There's a reason we're still in the community and we're still talking about Adventure 1 and 2. And even 06. Because we're talking about that lore, and if we just get new games, that gives us just a little bit of that. The videos that we make won't be such a stretch. Give us something. There's an overwhelming amount of reason to add lore back into Sonic, and if there's a big portion of fans that came from the movie, guess what? Guess what was in the Sonic movie? For the first time ever, they gave Sonic a backstory. Kids like a story? Kids like stories? Are you telling me that kids like stories? What? Kids like stories? Do you mean the thing that they do every day with their teachers? That the thing that they love the most? The thing that teachers get you to read, like almost for like every project you have to read a story and talk about it? Oh my god. I have no idea why they got rid of the priority on a story. Stories. Just write a good story. People forget Sonic Colors isn't even close to being new. It's not. Isn't it like over 10 years? Yeah, it's over 10 years old. 11 years old. All right, so Deleter, I will get you in here, but I'm coming through looking for a question for you. Colors fans have tinted glasses. People forget. Let's see here. Evan's getting a bit emotional. No, I'm just hamming it up for the performance of the stream. Don't worry about it. I'm not really upset about it. I mean, I do kind of like want them to like wake up. Like young kids still like a story. I don't know what's going on here. Even 06 feels new next gen to me. Okay, but that's just because of art direction. Do you think wearables will have in-game boosts like drawing rings or elemental shields? Ooh, like abilities. Interesting. I don't think so. What do you think about the voice direction? Talk about possible change in voice direction. Wyatt, that's a pretty good one. So I think that I'm going to take Wyatt's question because it seems like I think I'm looking for something that doesn't exist. So I think we just need to go with it. So I'm going to invite T Deleter to get in here. So T Deleter, the floor will be yours in just a moment. T Deleter. T Deleter. Hey, T Deleter. Hey, how's it going? Hello? He's still muted. What if he doesn't even know he's here? Hey, hey, what's up?
I'm here.
You made it.
Yeah.
Did you fall asleep?
No, I was just sitting here chilling, and then all of a sudden you bring up the Deleter, and I was just like, whoa, I'm freaking out.
That's probably my fault because I'm bouncing around like a ping pong ball trying to entertain everybody. But so you know what? Since I can't really think of a specific a question to ask you that like feels really heavy, I'll just ask you the question that Wyatt just gave us. Do you think, and this is interesting, do you think that the wearables will come with any kind of unique abilities? Like, I mean, nothing super creative, but maybe start with 10 rings, or start with Tails recovery, or move a little faster, or something like that?
Yeah, no, that actually sounds like something that could actually happen. Like, shoot. I think that Forces had ability perks, like faster stomp, quicker sidestep, I guess. Yeah, like that's been done before.
This is just getting me excited, because if they had that, right, and it's still pretty basic stuff, right? Some of them were like there was like a really weird ability, but I thought it was like, I was happy they tried. But in Forces, when you stomp, you get like a, what was it? It was like a stomp boost or something. You stomp boost.
Yeah.
Stuff like
when
that.
you stomp and it just carries all your momentum. Even that low key was a great ability, because it was like, you know how Generations and Unleashed stomps are different.
Yeah.
And the Unleashed stomp carries your momentum. Getting that back for Forces was really, really cool.
Well,
so
the thing is, and I know I keep saying this, and please finish after this, but I know I keep saying this, but if they had that, then an online mode would be even cooler. Like, if you had like, what if you had like certain slots for wearables? You can only maybe pick like 2, right? Gloves, shoes. It seems like that's your only choice. So what if some of them come with attributes and you can only choose 2, and so everybody has like a different base ability, but then you're racing to get the wisps that you're looking for, and maybe some of those abilities are tied to wisps. So for example, I have gold shoes, and the gold shoes, because they're yellow, allows me to drill through the ground faster. However, someone else also has that ability. So I see them in the loading screen and I'm like, oh crap. So now we have to race for the drill wisp, because we know already that we're both going for the same route. So we're like fighting each other to get to the wisp, but there's only one of them. And so if you get that, you get way far ahead. There needs to be some sort of rubber banding though, because that person's gonna get way too far ahead. But that just makes me so excited. I know I'm getting my hopes up. I don't know. What do you think of this? Am I just getting my hopes up? Are you there? Hello? Okay, I think I lost him. But this just in. Hold on, give me a sec. I'm gonna look at some stuff. So Xpool has given me some stuff to look at in regards to the online play, so it's very topical. T-Deleter, hopefully you're able to come back to us to finish our discussion. I can't hear you right now, so you have time to fix your mic while I kind of switch over screens. Oh, hold on, T-Deleter. I do hear you now, but let me just refer to this that I just got from Xpool. Shoutouts to Xpool. So Xpool here is saying that they've removed the online play from one of the store listings for the PS4 version of Colors Ultimate, implying that there may not be an online mode at all, which would break my heart. So let's see. Let's take a look at this is my reaction to this. This is my first time seeing this, so I have no idea. So it's saying offline play enabled.
Where was this posted?
I'm not sure. 2 players, PS4 enhanced, DualShock. Where does it say it's not offline play enabled? What does that mean? You can play offline.
Yeah.
That sounds like to me that you can play it offline. Okay, here's another thing that he sent me before I move it to you, T-Deleter. Capabilities: single player, Xbox local multiplayer.
I like how the Tails. Sorry.
No, say it. Go ahead.
I like how the Tails channel chat is saying T got deleted. When my mic went out.
I mean, it was a fitting name. So Xpool, I don't know. I think this is a stretch right now. Again, I don't know. I'm not convinced. Yeah. I think what it's saying is you don't have to be connected to play the game.
Yeah, it seems like something that's like the opposite of what the online always games are. Like the what are they called? Like Destiny, or like any multiplayer, big budget multiplayer game that has to always have an online internet connection to play. This seems like something that a company would post on their game to say, yeah, you can play this offline. So in my opinion, this doesn't really confirm anything like that.
It does put doubt in my heart because, I mean, of course, I'm afraid I'm not going to get what I really, really deeply want. So, I'm going to make another poll. Online multiplayer. So I'm making a poll right now to see what people think, but there needs to be more than just like 2 options, yes or no. In main stages... So in main stages is like racing like you would Metal Sonic in, you know, racing between them. Online Sonic Sim, which is the simulator, and then no online at all. No online at all. I believe those are the 3 options. So you'll be able to race in main stages, online Sonic Simulator, so you could just do the online, or sorry, the multiplayer that already exists, but just online, or no online at all. Now I'm about to replace the pin, Ryan, just a heads up. So I'm gonna share this. Then I'm gonna let you continue, T-Deleter, if you've had more that you wanted to say and I like cut you off. Will there be online? Vote now. Bam, bam, bam. All right, now I gotta pin that. So was there more that you wanted to say in regards to kind of like abilities, maybe even online mode too, or is that pretty well everything? We should move on to another subject because I do want to talk with you a little bit more.
Well, I want to say, like, the abilities, I'm not hedging my bets on that necessarily, but I've never actually thought about that in that way. So just hearing about that concept is just, it's making so many sparks fly in my brain in terms of what could be possible.
Just because Sonic Colors itself lends itself so well to that kind of experience, I think.
And imagine if there were like the Wisps and you had a secondary ability that was like offensive and you could just, like, you know how Sonic has Chaos Control in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle and Shadow has the Chaos Spears. You could just, I don't know, laser blast someone from far away, even though you don't get transported. You could just fire a missile in a laser form, basically. So it'd be like Mario Kart, but it'd be colors.
You know, so here's the thing. I really like that idea, but of course, right as you were saying it, my first thought, being a Sonic fan, and I'm sure, chat, you felt the same way, my first thought, again, was that we don't know how the scale is going to be because of the games we've gotten before this. So, of course, I'm like, okay, so that sounds like a really cool idea, T-Deleter, but how is Sonic Team going to do it if they're cutting corners? So I thought of this, but this is still cool. I still have a cool idea while cutting corners. So hear me out. What if instead of all these diverse, you know, fantastic secondary defensive or offensive abilities during the race, it's really cool, but here's a simple way to do it. What if you could, instead of using your Wisp, there's a button, and it pretty well does the same thing for every Wisp, but it makes a fake Wisp. So what if they looked exactly like Wisps? What if they looked almost exactly like Wisps model-wise, but they were slightly off? Like, only slightly. So if you knew what to look for, you would know it's wrong. And if you get it, it does something to you, like you lose rings, and you can place them. Like, what if you grab the Drill Wisp, then immediately somewhere almost right next to it, you place the fake one, and then somebody behind you is like, and then they just like get screwed up because they grabbed the fake one. You could do stuff like that. I think that would be really fun, and it's also, if we're worried about dev time and budget, again, it's still possible. Creativity transcends all. What do you think of that idea? Would you be happy with that?
Well, I'll say one thing. We don't know for sure whether Sonic Team will do it, but since it's on PC, you know, maybe.
And it's not Sonic Team making it. Who knows?
I don't know. But yeah, shoot. There was one other thing that I was thinking of. Forget what.
So while you think about that, I'm gonna answer a chat from Dion saying their animations are mirrored or they have a dark aura to tell they're fake. I think that's even too much. Like kind of like in Mario Kart, you know, the fake item boxes, how they look completely the same, but then as you approach them, they change. Except to get a similar effect, what I'm imagining is like, what if it like, maybe it's like using the Cube Wisp model, but it's the Drill Wisp texture. So from far away, you're like, oh, it's totally a Drill Wisp, and then you're like, wait a minute. That's a cube. And you like, but that fits so well with Sonic's gameplay because you're so used to just like quickly looking at something and going, I got to interact with that and that and this and this and that, and that's gonna force people to be like, okay, I really got to look at the stage right now and strategize. What I got to pay attention to what's going on, and I think that fits really well with the concept of Sonic. I have to stop right here, not stop here, but I have to show you guys the results of the poll right now because I cannot believe how split it is. Look at this. So 33% think we're gonna get a multiplayer where you can race in main stages like we're talking about. 33% also think it's gonna be online Sonic Simulator, and 34 right now as we speak, it just changed, 34% think no online at all. So we have
why no online at all? Like,
because of what Xpool just created so much doubt in people. But you know what, Xpool is doing a service to the community because all he's doing is making sure that we are as informed as possible and we don't get our hopes up, and I think that's important. And you know what, I'm gonna throw that back to you, TD Leader. Do you think it's wrong of us to get our hopes up? Do you think it contributes to some sort of like negative Sonic cycle?
Oh, I actually have some really interesting thoughts on this because, well, you know how hype cycles get and like, you know, leaks and stuff, like new information out in the open, new concepts, like that get the fan base really excited and stuff. That stuff usually ends up being false. But when you think about what it does for the community, what it does for the general ideas that are a part of the community, it's kind of a creative, like, opening. It brings in so many new ideas and so much in anticipation for what could be in a video game and stuff. So like, for example, one of the past leaks, one of the past details of E3s before had to do with a Star Fox racing game. A lot of people didn't like that idea. A lot of people thought that was really dumb. But when I thought about it some more, I was like, wait, hang on a second. You could actually make a really cool racing game if you had like, you shoot the enemies and then you get boost from that and then you can speed up past everyone and you're just like flying in a 3D space. That idea will never leave my mind because of that.
Right.
And that leak was false. So getting hyped can be a backfire because you can get burned. You can have disappointment with the game, even though you don't necessarily you weren't guaranteed that disappointment if you didn't get hyped.
So you make a really good point, and so let me plug your logic into right now with Sonic fans to make it absolutely clear, because I think this is super important. What this means now is that just because at one point, I've said this before, but I'll say it again because it's important. Just because Sonic Rangers at one point may have been an open world game does not mean that what we get will be what we know as an open world game. Something can change during development, and that again is an old leak. I know that there is a lot of the legitimacy to it because of the connection between some of the themes in the teaser trailer and its name, but that doesn't mean that the product we're getting is going to resemble that leak that much. So please, based on what TD Leader just excellently stated to us, you need to keep that in mind. So I know a lot of people are reporting on open world game, and Tails channel included. However, we won't really know until we see something. Now, TD Leader, I am starting to melt, so I gotta say goodbye to you. But it was really nice talking to you, and you brought up a lot of interesting points and taught me a lot. So I hope I'll be able to bring you on in the future. But thank you so much, and have an excellent day.
Oh, sure, no problem. Thank you so much for having me. It was a blast.
It's no problem at all. I mean, I chose you because I see you in the chat from time to time, just chilling, and you know, you're a cool guy and always have something nice to say. So why not? Why not give it back? Anyway, I'll see you around, dude.
All right.
Peace.
Later.
All right, guys. So that'll be the end of our live discussion on Sonic Colors Ultimate. I had a lot of fun today. I always have fun doing these. However, just like I normally do when I come up with a really exciting idea, I kind of want to back pocket it for a little bit. Now, unless something major Sonic-wise is revealed in the coming days, I'll probably back pocket this live discussion idea for the next couple of live streams. Now, a reminder, we always stream Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for an unspecified amount of time, though it's been going over an hour lately, somewhere around there. Today was a little over 2 hours, but there was a lot to talk about, surprisingly. So stay tuned next week at that same time for something entirely new. Again, for those of you who are wondering about it, Perfect Redesigns were delayed for a little while over on Edible Potatoes Twitch, so we will be bringing back Perfect Redesigns in the future. I'm sorry about the delay. Work just got the best of me. Debates were another one of those ideas that I put in my back pocket. We do want to bring Sonic Debates back to the channel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please look at our Tales Channel Live archives where I debated, is Sonic 06 Sonic Adventure 3? Take a look at it. It was a really fun. Sam dressed up and got his green screen out, and it was a really, really good time. We're going to bring that series back in the future, and as I said at the start of the stream, I understand that the biggest criticism of Tales Channel as a content creator right now is that we really don't make a lot of YouTube content. I just want to reiterate that our focus has been on TalesChannel.com for many months now, but we're hitting our stride with that, and things are going really, really well, and I have the summer off, and my priority of my focus is going to be on increasing the amount of content on YouTube for Tales Channel. So you're going to see a lot of things coming this summer, so stay tuned for that. That is all from me. Thank you so much. I will finish my game tier list at some point, FNS. And again, thank you guys so much for supporting me for all these years. Have a great rest of your weekend. This was Evan for Tales Channel. I gotta go cool off. Bye, guys.